All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
What is up, everybody? Listen, Logan dropping off people stuck in traffic, can't be here. I'm going to have to write him a tardy slip. He's going to have to go see the principal. I got Frank out there working, moonlighting on the show. I might have to write him up and give him a second and final warning. I got Gonzo. I don't even know where Gonzo's at, man. I don't even know if Gonzo knows where Gonzo's at. You ever watch Gonzo? Gonzo pretty much 9 times out of 10 looks confused. So I don't know. He might be out there roaming somewhere. And then Pride. Pride. Oh, my God. I wish Frankie was here. I wish Frankie was watching this show right now. Pride, you running son of a you-know-what. This is family TV. But you know you're running from Rev Rob. You know.
What's going on? What's going on, Jay? How you feeling, my brother?
I'm getting to you. Hold on, Reverend Rob. Hold on. I'm in my soliloquy opening speech. Hold on, Rob. Because I'm calling the man out. I'm calling Pride out. Pride out there ducking you, Rob. And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to the preparation that you put into this show. Reverend Rob.
Reverend Rob is in the building. Reverend Rob is in. I'm all good, brother. How you feeling, brother?
You know, I'm doing good, man. Listen, I know you're not a baseball guy, but my Astros are finally back in first place where we belong, Rob.
There you go.
Listen,
there you go.
Bruh, I'm telling you, we've gone through adversity, and the season really hasn't truly even started. We went from first place to last place, and guess where we are right now, Rob?
First place.
Damn right, damn Skippy, all day, baby. And I'm having fun with it. We're on a 10-game winning streak. So honestly, my Rockets, horrible. Cowboys, horrible. So I translate to the one place that doesn't keep me from slitting my wrists, and I go straight to the Houston Astros. So Iverson Vlog says, fun fact, 17 years ago today, Suns were the #1 seed, and the Mavs were the 4th, and the Suns 1 and 6. They are the same seed this year, laugh out loud, and this seems like 2005. Rob, kicking it off, what do you think about that comment?
Man, it actually feels nothing like 2005 because if you really want to be honest, nobody thought that the Steve Nash-led Phoenix Suns were actually going to win a championship.
ESPN.
So I will have to disagree, but I will also agree that Phoenix basketball is back, baby.
I think it is. Of course, Dallas may still have something to say about it because the series isn't quite over.
Oh, yes, sir. Well, you know I picked Dallas to win this series. However, if we're talking about the series right now, I'm a little uncomfortable in my prediction due to the fact that Dallas did not win Game 5. So I'm a little nervous for him.
I want you to know, Rob, and I don't normally endorse alcohol on shows, but tonight I have selected Transmigration of Souls by Orpheus Brewing Company. So my soul hopefully be transmigrated into the thunderous victory of the Houston Astros. I'm hoping. We shall see. And maybe your soul be migrated into thunderous victory of Golden State.
How you doing, Rob? Everything right?
All good.
It's the 3010 West Marquette.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I got you, brother. Give me about 30, 35
Cowboys
minutes.
have a good first game to take it out. Hey,
you.
that's true, man.
Thank
Listen, Anthony Price, Cowboys ain't looking good right now. We didn't upgrade the offseason. We didn't
need
upgrade
charges for your phone.
Good. Thank you.
So, yeah, man, I kind of agree with what you're saying, man. I am not your typical Cowboys fan, and I know the typical Cowboys fan, like Rob always tells me, will be delusional, thinking that they're going to win every single year the Super Bowl, and every year
all the time.
I'm not that guy, Rob. I'm not, Rob. I will tell you, Rob, I was that guy for a while, and then I realized after defeat, okay, I see the problems with the Cowboys and Jerry Jones, and he ain't going away. So let me just back the hell down and come back to reality and understand that Dallas Cowboys, this is what I look at. We are a competitive team, but we are not a Super Bowl team. Let me say it again. We are a competitive team, but we are not a Super Bowl team. Not until Jerry Jones leaves the organization. That's just the way I see it, Rob.
At least you guys are competitive. You think it's tough being a Cowboys fan. Try being a Bears fan.
Bro, you guys, I know, man, you have not seen the glory days since Ditka, and Sweetness and everything in between that.
I won't say that. We were competitive. What was that, 05, 06, when we had Urlacher running the defense. Our problem at that time was we couldn't get a consistent quarterback. We went to Rex Grossman. We went to Cal Orton. It's horrible, bro.
You have not had a quarterback since '85. You've had a bunch of, I guess you can say, fill-ins, you can say backups, but you have not had a legit quarterback since '85. Now, maybe Justin Fields will change the narrative. I don't know. It's too early to tell. But you just have not. You're right. You've been stuck without a field general forever.
Can we really say Jim McMahon was a great quarterback? The '85 Bears won because of that defense.
Watch this. I tell you this. I'm not saying that Jim McMahon is like Tom Brady, but I'm saying Jim McMahon was a good enough quarterback to get the job done.
He was a glorified manager of the field, bro.
And I would say he's better than what. But I'll tell you this: he's been better than everything you've had since.
Oh, I'll take Jim McMahon over Cal Orton any day.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, I don't want to write out Justin Fields because it's too early to tell for Justin, and he needs more weapons to really be able to know what he can do. Just like Jalen Hurts in Philly. We don't really quite know exactly how good Jalen Hurts can be, but I'll tell you this, Philly is putting the weapons around him to know.
You know what? He is under the biggest microscopes this year. Like Jalen Hurts, like they gave you everything that you need in Philly as far as offensively goes. So if he's not able to get the job done, or Philly is not winning the NFC East, then that's going to be a problem, bro. Because remember, as Shannon Sharp so eloquently put it, when he was in Alabama, he had everything, and he lost out the job to Tua. So Jalen Hurts right now needs to prove he can be a pro.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and let me ask you this question, Rob. He's got Brown, Devontae Smith, Sanders, a good offensive line, an upgraded defense in certain areas. If he cannot convert and do well in this system, is it safe to say that he's a bust if he can't do well in this system?
That's very safe to say. Especially, too, because he hasn't really been that bad. Everybody who watches Jalen Hurts, who really watches football, they understand he's not the best thrower of the football. We're not saying he's going to be Donovan McNabb for him or he's the next Tom Brady. But now, I mean, at first you could give him the excuses that maybe his receivers wasn't that good. But now you have weapons. You have real weapons. And the unfortunate thing for him is everybody is ready to crown Philadelphia Eagles as the NFC East champions, but he's the major red flag because we don't know what he can bring to the table. So as I mentioned,
wholeheartedly, I agree with you.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, he is under the biggest microscope because if you can't get the job done with these weapons, you're not the quarterback for us. I'm just being real.
Let me ask you a question about, and before we move on to Jalen Hurts. I got one more question about Jalen, and I want to ask your opinion on this. And my opinion is this: Nick Saban is a hell of a coach. Ain't nobody gonna doubt that. He's got the pedigree with LSU, Alabama. He's got the pedigree. Wasn't so good on the NFL ticket. That's okay. He went back to college and he resurrected his kingdom. And everybody knows what Nick Saban can do. And now my question is this: he benches Jalen Hurts for Tua to save that particular championship. The next there, Jalen goes into the portal and then comes out at Oklahoma, has a pretty good season, but just can't quite get it done in the playoffs. Do you think that was an early indication, or could that be deja vu for what his NFL career will look like?
No, because I tend to not judge players based off their college careers. The same way you have great college players who are not good, you have decent college players who turn out to be great in the NBA. Or in any professional sports. Let's look at Michael Jordan. He wasn't the man in college, but he gets to the NBA and becomes the GOAT. So I'm not going to judge him based off his college career. I want to see what.
I'll do one better. Hey, Rob, I'll do one better. If anybody knows the real history of MJ, when he was in high school, they completely overlooked him.
He was cut from a sophomore team.
Yes.
And then you look at Tom Brady.
He was cut.
You look at Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't the man in college. He was what? A 6th-round pick?
199. How far was he away from being Mr. Irrelevant?
And now he's the GOAT in the NFL. So what I'm saying is, to base somebody's career path off college, it's hard to do. Look at Jimmer Fredette. Look at Grayson Allen. We're talking about dudes who were prolific scorers in college and either turned into overseas players or glorified role players, bro.
Oh, I know, I definitely agree. And that's why I'm really trying to stay very objective when it comes to Jalen Hurts. But I feel like in my heart that if you have two offensive wideouts like you got, and the running game in which you have, which is a top 10 running game, and then you got an offensive line and a defense, if you can't perform in this, I don't know what else you could perform in.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt in college, man. Everybody can't play. You know, some people don't reach their peak in college. Sometimes it takes going to the pros. It takes making all this money. It takes really understanding how to be a professional to turn your career around.
I get that. And let's be honest. Hey, and Rob, if we're really honest, you know, and Jalen's not doing bad. He made the wild card with what he had to work with last year. Now he's been upgraded another spot on offense. He's got a little more help on defense. So, I mean, really, I expect to see him. All right, let me ask you this question, Rob. Given what he did last year, making the wild card, given the upgrade with Brown, given that what they've done on defense, should the Philadelphia Eagles, especially under Jalen Hurts, should they be the NFC East champs and even make it past the second round, or are we looking at him differently?
I think first they shouldn't put that much pressure on him. I think right now the objective is to win the NFC East, and then to play it by ear and get better every year. AJ Brown should have no complaints with just playing with Ryan Tannehill.
Right.
So, I mean, you know, and I get Tannehill, he's probably a better thrower of the football than Jalen Hurts, but what Jalen Hurts proved last year is he's a winner. He's a winner. And he knows how to get the job done, whether that's with his arm or with his legs. So that's why I'm ready to give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what you can do now with a souped-up roster. And I expect the Philadelphia Eagles to be crowned the NFC East champions. If they're not, then it's not a successful season. Because on paper,
I wholeheartedly agree with you.
On paper, they're better than the Cowboys, they're better than the Commanders, and they're better than the Giants. So,
and I hate to say that, right? Because I hate to say that the Eagles are better than the Cowboys, but let's just be real. The Cowboys didn't upgrade in free agency. They didn't upgrade really, truly, in my opinion, in the draft. You can say Sam Williams, the outside linebacker, you know, who has really good potential to either play off the end or at linebacker, who could possibly replace Gregory. But at the same token, we don't know that for sure. We hope that he can. So the fact that they didn't really, truly upgrade, now they can say getting rid of Cooper helped Gallup and help Dak to look at other receivers, help CeeDee Lamb's career, so forth and so forth. But at the end of the day, these are all things that we don't know. And I don't think they did the necessary, and they really didn't have the cap space. That's another thing that killed the Cowboys to really upgrade. So you're right. I can see the Eagles, and I picked them. I actually picked the Eagles to win the NFC East, and I'm a Cowboys fan. That just shows you how realistic I am. And I love my Cowboys. But
sometimes as a fan, it pains you. Just like even right now, I feel like the NFC North is open, especially with Aaron Rodgers losing all his receivers.
Hey, let's not bullshit each other, Rob. Let's not bullshit each other. I think the Vikings come out of that division.
That's what I was about to say. I think Minnesota just became the best team in the NFC North.
Exactly. I definitely think Minnesota comes out of that damn division, and wouldn't that? And I don't even like Minnesota, Rob. I don't know if you've ever been to Minnesota. I've been to Minnesota. Hell, my cousin is married to a guy from Minnesota, and he's a real asshole.
I haven't been to Minnesota, but I actually have family in Minnesota, and I'm a huge Vikings fan, so all power to them.
Hey, I'm just saying.
I also have a uncle that's a Packers fan, and I love to rub it in his face every time.
But hey, real quick. So, okay, so let me ask. There's a couple of things I want to talk about. Just maybe like two things before we get into the actual show. The first thing I want to talk to you about: Jerry Jeudy was arrested for tampering with domestic violence enhancer. Now, Rob, I don't know what the hell a domestic violence enhancer is. Do you, by chance?
It sounds like a drug, but domestic violence enhancer is something that.
I really don't know what a domestic violence enhancer is, but apparently Jeudy was arrested for it. Let me ask you this, man, Rob. There's been a lot of issues with domestic violence and things like that going on in sports. Is this, what do you make of Jerry Jeudy in this? Is he gonna, is it how bad? Because let's be honest now. Now it is considered. I looked this up. It's considered a misdemeanor. So what he did is a misdemeanor. So I do think it's going to come off of his record. It's not really going to affect him. I don't think a whole hell of a lot. He's probably going to have to pay a fine. But at what point in the NFL, Rob, do we start saying like, hey, what's going on with this whole domestic? Because Rob, we were talking about if we had all this money, our lives would be so easy. We'd be having fun. We'd be doing this. We'd be doing that. Everything in between. But what's up with these professional athletes who can't get it right with all the money and fame and fortune, everything they have, that they have to go out and do domestic violence? And what's going on, Rob?
Not to make it excuse for these guys have different lives than we have. So we come from humble beginnings. We got to work our way to the top. Whether that's working a job, working in the military, whatever.
Hey, Rob, I think you got an issue. Rob, I think you're having a problem with your phone. Hey, disconnect and reconnect, and let's see if that will clear up your audio. Your audio is coming in kind of coming in jacked up a little bit. Do me a favor, disconnect and then reconnect, and let's get it going again.
No, I think it was that better? Yes, sir. Was that better?
I think Rob's having issues with his audio, but we're going to move on with this show while we wait for him to disconnect and come back on the show. Again, folks, my issue is with, professional athletes and domestic violence, professional athletes and so forth. And I don't understand quite what is bringing to that point. That might be a little bit better. Now, what do you make of the domestic violence issue?
Yeah, what I was saying was, I think these guys have different lives than we have. So, it's different for me and you to say what we would do with all the money that they earn. But most of these guys are coming in from high school, from college, and you're introducing an 18, 19-year-old to millions of dollars. So these guys start to get a God complex of I can't be touched or I'm untouchable. And what they have to realize is you're still a human being. And in some cases, you're still a minority for some people. And you got to remember, just because you got all that green, it's not going to change the perception of how people look at you. And also, it's not going to change the laws of the United States of America. cannot be involved in these domestic violence cases. And these guys got this untouchable complex that they think I can do whatever I want. There's no consequences. And you would think they would learn from their predecessors, but I can also understand the fact that most of these dudes come from humble beginnings themselves. You take a guy from the projects, and because he can play football or jump really high, this dude can make millions of dollars. And that tends to mess with these guys' minds. This is why you see a lot of athletes go broke. This is why you see a lot of child celebrities go broke and get into tons of trouble. Because nobody is teaching them how to behave with all this money.
Well, okay, but doesn't the NFL, like when you first come to the NFL, don't they have like an orientation where you come in to the orientation and they're supposed to give you the expectations, right?
I mean, the orientation is not helping anybody. I really think that they should learn from the NBA where they teach, financial literacy classes. They teach you how to be a professional. A lot of the veterans in the NBA are grab and bring you in. As you mentioned, as Charles Barkley mentions Dr. J all the time, and how Dr. J took him under his arm and taught him how to really be a professional. If Dr. J wasn't in Charles Barkley, like, what do you think he would have ended up? We know Charles Barkley was a wild boy, but when you have people in your life that understands what you're going through and are willing to teach you how to behave when you reach a certain level, I think that's something that's lacking in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of veterans that reach out to the young guys.
Right. Let me ask you this. Let me get your opinion on this, because this is where I kind of think the problem can even be solved. Because let's be honest, all of these athletes have agents. All of them. Yeah. All of these athletes have agents. And I personally believe that these athletes are not getting enough out of their agents. And what I mean by that is, hey, look, I'm paying you all of this damn money.
That's all they care about.
Right. But at the same time, if I'm an athlete, then I get it. Athletes don't think like this. But if I was an athlete, I'd be thinking like this. Or even if I'm the parent of these young kids, right? If I'm a parent, if I'm like, okay, John Morant, and I'm just using him as an example. You're getting ready to go in the NBA. I know you're going to sign with this agent. How about you ask this agent for some classes? You know what I'm saying? What about if these agents, why aren't these agents taking better care of their clients? The agents know all the pitfalls in these professional sports. Every agent knows what pitfall a young star coming into the league is going to face. And if I'm a good agent, if I'm an agent that cares about my client, I'm going to make sure that he has all these classes so that he can make good financial and good life decisions. Now, you can't make a star, you can't make a player take the classes, but why are we not at least as good fiduciaries of my client? Why am I not making this information available to him so that I'm taking good care of him? Because in return, if he makes all this money, I'm going to get money too because I'm his damn agent.
I get that, but how many agents only have one client?
No, I get that. And I'm not saying that he himself has to do it. What I'm saying is if you take on a client, they should have a list of classes you take. And you can say, hey, look, guy, I'll be your agent. But these are some of the pitfalls I know you're going to face. I can't make you, but I suggest you take these classes, and I will send these classes to your email. Or I will have my assistant, because we know agents have assistants. I'll have my assistant email you these classes. I suggest you watch them because it's going to help you. Now, if you don't watch it, hey, guess what? It's on you. But I'm at least going to give you the information.
And I get what you're saying, and I can't really speak on it because I'm not, one of these star athletes, nor am I an agent. But we've heard stories, we've seen TV shows based on athletes. These agents don't care. Like these agents, they look at you as a next check, and to be honest with you, you're not their only check. So it's most times where agents not even making meetings with certain players based on where you fall at on my money ladder. You're not even my breadwinner, so I'm not even showing up for you.
I get you, Rob. Okay, so let me turn to a different angle then. I get what you're saying. Let me turn to a different angle real quick. If I'm an owner of a franchise and I'm literally going to invest a lot of capital into you, before you even come to my training camp, why would they not have it mandatory that you go to these classes first? You know what I'm saying? There's so many levels that you can hit these guys at. It doesn't be the angel level. But truthfully, Rob, it really comes down to the parenting. That's the problem we have in this country. We don't have a good enough basis at parenting to really raise our kids right so that when they get to these levels, they're ready to handle it.
But you also got to look at area. You got to look at demographics.
Oh, yeah, you bring in demographics.
You got to look at where some of these people are coming from. You gotta. It's sad to say, but you have to admit to yourself, some of these kids' parents are not in their life. No, even if they're there, they're not present. So you gotta. If we look at the demographic of some of the people that's getting in trouble, some of them is because even right now their parents just see a paycheck. Oh, my kid is in the NFL. My kid is in the NBA. When are you going to buy me this house? They don't care about their education. They don't care about their financial literacy. They don't care what they do in the streets. They just want to know what you're going to do for me.
You know what? You know, Rob, it's really bad in this country. My wife, she is a first grade teacher, Rob. And I can't tell you the numerous times that my wife will come home and she'll cry because her kids, some of the kids that she has are failing like miserably, and she's trying her best, but they're failing miserably because their parents aren't involved in their kids' lives to even really care that their kids are learning to read or not read.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's huge. Yeah. That's huge. Like, it's huge when a teacher cares more about you reading and writing and math than your own parents do. So I get what you're saying. A lot of kids just don't have the parental supports at home to give them the foundation to be successful in life. And then they go in and become an athletic person, and they probably go through college having people do the assignments for them to where they're just out there playing the sport. So when they get to college, they still don't know a damn thing. But now I'm thrusting millions of dollars on you, but you still have the same mindset as if you at the very beginning, so you don't know how to handle any of it. And you probably have a bad group of friends around you, influence you, and you don't want to separate from those friends.
Man, most of these dudes got yes men around them, and most of these dudes got somebody that's itching the tail around them. The biggest example I could use is Michael Vick, in which, I know he was fighting dogs. Some people feel it was bad. Some people like me, hey, it's a way of life. I've known people who fought dogs. It's a way of life. But to the NFL, it was something bad to do. But what I look at is you got family members. These people came to your house while Michael Vick wasn't even there. And nobody took the rap for him, knowing that he's the breadwinner. Like, if Michael Vick gets arrested, this life we're living right now, we no longer live.
Right.
And the bad part was everybody was waiting to point fingers at him. So,
absolutely.
I was just talking about this with my mentor leaving work. Like, it's a treasure. It's a hidden gem when you got guys around you or girls around you that tell you, hey, bro, you bugging, you messing up. You need to watch yourself, calm down, relax.
Yeah, but you got the support system around you.
And unfortunately, not all athletes have that. I'm glad you used Ja Morant as a good example, because if you look at some of these people out here, bro, they judge, the African-American community of fathers not being around. And then you look at somebody like Ja Morant, whose father's there every game. He's supporting him. He's happy for him. And that doesn't make the news. Nobody talks about how great of a role model he is for Ja, that Ja's not getting in trouble, that Ja's out here. He like to be flamboyant and flash around, but what young kid doesn't? I got millions of dollars. I can do that. But he makes sure that Ja keeps himself humble, and he keeps him focused on the task at hand. Look at Carl Anthony Towns' father out there. Look at Chris Paul's father out there. Look at the Balls. Everybody hated LeVar Ball for promoting his own son.
Hey, listen, that whole LeVar Ball thing, there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but the pros really cons, and LeVar's done a good job marketing his kids, getting his kids where they need to be, and they're doing their thing. But more importantly, even Carl Anthony Towns' dad was out there. Matter of fact, there was a thing between Carl Anthony Towns' dad and Ja Morant's dad. It's a good example of fathers doing what fathers should be doing, supporting their kids.
Helping your son become a man.
And I think that's the thing. And I want to point this out, and then we're going to move on. This is the last thing I'm going to say. there's a rap in the African American community, and Rob, if I'm wrong, you tell me, that a lot of African American fathers aren't supporting their kids or they're not around. But I think there are African American fathers that are around. You just don't see it, or you don't hear about it in the publicity. But I think that Carl Anthony Towns' father, I think that John Moran's father is a good example of that. So I do think that they are there, and we just don't. It just doesn't get reported in the news a lot of times.
Yeah, and not to mention what they don't mention in the African American community is even if the father is not there, that could be due to death in the family, that could be due to incarceration. There's a village there. There's some strong women in their life. There's uncles, there's cousins, there's brothers. It's people there to check you when you messing up.
Oh, absolutely.
And they don't report that. And most times they want to blame it on the family. Sometimes people are just little F-ups. It's nothing more you can do. And that ain't a color thing. That's an everybody thing.
hey, listen, even in my family, there's a lot of mess ups. So I ain't gonna talk about it. Hey, listen, real quick. I want to get your opinion. Stidham is getting traded to the Raiders to join up with Josh McDaniels, along with a 7th round draft pick for a 6th round draft pick. Let me say that again. So the Patriots are giving the Raiders Josh Stidham and a 7th round pick for a 6th round pick. What do you think about that?
Remind me, Josh Stidham does what for the Patriots?
He's the backup quarterback. So now Stidham is going to the Patriots. So that means the backup quarterback to Mac Jones is now going to be Brian Hoyer. Okay, that's one. So again, they're giving up a draft pick and Stidham for a 6th round pick. I personally think that the Raiders are getting the better end of that deal.
Of course, because Josh McDaniels has rapport with Stidham. That's in a nutshell. He knows this backup quarterback. He knows what he's capable of. He knows what he's not capable of. Derek Carr hasn't really had that much of an injury issue, so I doubt Stidham gets that much time anyway. And not to mention, we only lost one place in the draft position.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, and that's why it's hard for me to see. I don't know, man. I like Brian Belichick as a coach. You cannot deny Brian Belichick as a coach. And I will say that he lucked. He lucked into Mac Jones. He didn't trade up. Yeah. Mac Jones just kind of fell into his lap, and it was almost like a slam dunk. Now
he definitely did.
But let me ask you this: I like him as a coach, but I don't like him as a GM. I just don't.
Let's be real. We know
coach, but not a GM.
We know who's pulling the strings with the Patriots. It ain't Brian Belichick.
Yeah, no doubt, right? No doubt.
So if you really want to look at it, I honestly do think it's a good move for the Patriots. They move up one spot in the draft. You get rid of Stidham. Brian Hoyer is a capable backup quarterback. He used to be the starting quarterback for the Texans, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah,
you really didn't lose anything. It's apples and oranges. It's like we traded one backup quarterback in the draft pick to get a higher draft pick. We got a capable backup here. So it's really hard to say that the Patriots really lost that deal.
Yeah, and exactly, and that's my point. I don't think that if God forbid if something happens to Mac Jones, and then you got to turn the team over to Brian Hoyer, can you tell me one Hoyer in the league that's been worth a damn? I'm just saying. And hey, listen, Rob, I'm going to end my rant at that, and we're going to get into these NBAs because we got some things to talk about, you and I.
Oh, yes, sir.
To talk about you and I. And
yes, sir.
Hey, listen, because it's you, I'm going to start off with Golden State right off the rip, man.
Oh, my God. Why you want to make me cry, Jay?
Before we get into that, I want to make sure that I'm correct because I don't want to give out false information. I want to make sure that my NBA who's playing tonight? Do you know right offhand? I think it's Golden State, and I know Philadelphia is playing tonight.
Yeah, so Philadelphia and Miami's playing, and then Dallas and Phoenix.
Yeah, okay, so it's Dallas. It's Dallas. And all of it. Look, guys. Hey, there's look from this point on. If you don't know this by now, all the series are at 3-2.
Oh yeah.
So that
It's
means,
money time now. It's money time.
Hey, not Rob. Now you're reading my mind. Right? It's money time. All these 3-point or all these 3 lead schools versus the 2 lead schools, right? So right now, so take for example tonight, we got right now at least what's on is the Philadelphia Miami. Miami is up 24-19 with 2:20 left in the first. Yeah, Miami came out blazing in Philly. I want to know what you think. Do you think that Miami wins tonight in Philly and takes it to 3-3?
No, Miami is up 3-2.
Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. You're right. Dadgummit. Let me back my.
Thank you, my good sir, man. You have a good one.
Okay, so by that thought, God, I'm such an idiot. This is why normally Logan has my graphic up and it reminds me, but I have my second place graphic because he's in traffic. So this is how you know that Jay McLovin making the slides, okay? Listen, does Philly stay alive or are they done? I mean, I know it's early, but I'm asking your prediction. 24-19. Is Philly going to stay alive?
Man, I hope Philly stays alive. I got love for Philly. I'm a Joel Embiid fan. I think that he was not going to say robbed for the MVP because I believe Joker deserved it, but I thought he should have won. I thought Joel Embiid should have won. That's just my personal opinion. But he ain't been playing like an MVP, I'll tell you that.
But let me ask you, now, Rob, I'm gonna go down this avenue. I know I should go down the rabbit hole, but I'm gonna go down the damn rabbit hole, Rob, because I need a little controversy on the show, and maybe this is where the controversy lies. You say that he's MVP, but he's not playing like MVP. Come on, explain that to me, because look, I understand Joker's not in the conversation right now because he's not playing, but I don't think that's necessarily Joker's fault. How is he better than Joker when he's not playing like an MVP in the playoffs?
That's a great question, Jay, but we got to remember that the MVP is a regular season award. And if you're personally asking me, I think that with all that Joel Embiid had to endure, with the drama surrounding Ben Simmons, with the drama surrounding James Harden, the drama surrounding Doc Rivers, I think that to have his team sitting in I think they were 4th place in the Eastern Conference, which to me, in my opinion, the Eastern Conference was the tougher conference this year. I think that Joel Embiid deserved it. He led the league in scoring. His numbers wasn't that far off from Joker. Joker got more assists. But if you're asking me overall player, I'm going to go with Embiid just because Embiid plays better defense than Joker. I mean, Joker's not going to be –
Rob, let me ask this. Rob, I'm going to stop you because I get the defense. I'm going to ask you this question, and I want you to answer it truthfully. If I took Joker off of the Nuggets and I inserted Embiid into the Nuggets lineup, where would the Nuggets be sitting at right now?
You know what? That's a hard question to ask, Jay.
No.
Because the Joker was what?
It's fair.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
How is it not fair?
Because that's like saying, does Philadelphia still be in the same spot with Joker there? I don't think so.
I think they're in a better spot. I think they're in a better spot with Joker.
I don't think so. They don't even make it out the first round with Joker.
But I want you to tell me why it's not fair. Why is it not fair to put Embiid on the Nuggets and say, where would they be? Why is it not fair? Because at that time,
the Joker gave the Nuggets exactly what they needed. They needed an overall player.
But what would Embiid bring to them?
Scoring and defense.
And how would that help them? How would that help them in terms of where they are?
That's what I'm saying. He wouldn't be a good fit for Denver.
So what we're saying is, okay, but now I want you to stay with my question now here. I want you to understand this. So if I put Embiid with this current Nuggets lineup, we're basically saying, according to you, and Rob, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if Embiid was on this roster, they're not advancing any further than what Joker got them.
Correct.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're right.
So what are we saying? I'm asking you.
Because I'm telling you, if you put,
I understand that Embiid plays defense. I understand he's good on the inside the paint, but Joker does the same stuff. So how is he not better? And how does he not make Philadelphia better?
If you put Joker on the team right now with the Philadelphia 76ers, they don't make it out the first round.
Really? Why? Why is that?
Because the Joker is not what Philly needs.
Wait, hold on now. Joker is a facilitator. Joker can play the versatile positions.
That's what they got James Harden for.
Hold on now. Joker is the outside and the inside. And let's be honest, he's only 3 points off of Embiid on points, but he dominates in rebounds and assists. How would that not help Philadelphia?
Because Philadelphia they don't need an assist person. That's what they got James Harden for. They need somebody that can score in the paint and also be a rim protector. The Joker is not a rim protector. Did you see the way Steph Curry skipped to the lane? Did you see the way Jordan Poole?
He was a quote-unquote rim protector with Embiid. They're 3-2. I'm going to take my chances on Joel.
They're 3-2 in the second round. Where's Joker at?
We know where Joker's at. The same place.
All right, then. So that just answered your question.
It's the same place where Embiid would be at. That's my point. The Nuggets is what I'm saying is the Nuggets is a hard team to really facilitate where each one would be because they would both be in the same place, right? Joker was obviously at home, but I do believe that Embiid would be at home. But I do think that, and I get what you're saying. I get the defense. Okay, yeah, Joker would not be able to give you the defense, but I think Joker makes up for it in rebounds, assists, and points.
I don't think so.
And that's okay. Damn it. That's why they call it Rob 2 cents and J McLovin, damn it. That's why we're ebony and ivory, okay? Damn it.
We gonna make it work, baby. But
hey, listen,
yeah, I don't like I said, I don't have nothing against the Joker. I think the Joker is a great player, but just me personally, I think Joel Embiid is that defensive presence is what gives him the edge.
No, I get it. Hey, listen, you're not wrong for saying that. You're really not wrong. I really, like I said before, man, I got to be honest with you, man. I put Giannis kind of out of that category because Giannis, people say Giannis is a Greek freak, this, that, the other. But let me tell you something. When you're only winning 2 out of 3 you're only winning 1 out of 3 categories over Joker, and it's only by 2 points in the one category that you won. You can go to Greek freak bullshit all you want, but it doesn't make it any better. I'm going to regress for a minute. Do you think, and this is John Suggs asking the question, do you think Grizzlies played better without Morant? Look what they did to the Warriors and look at those games during the regular season when Morant was out and won big. Now, let me say real quick, because I want to get your perspective on this, Rob, but I want to remind John Suggs to look at what the Warriors had when those guys were out, and they won 3. I think they won 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, something like that, in the regular season. You got to understand, Golden State Warriors weren't with the full accoutrement, so we really can't weigh that as equal. However, I'm not going to look past what the Grizzlies did to the Golden State Warriors in the game that they last played. And Rob, I want you to think about this for a second, and then I want you to give me your best, what you got. What I'm asking is basically when we look at the Grizzlies, they basically beat them by 55 points at one point without Morant being there. Oh, I think I got to go to the next one. Rob, I think left me on this one. Hold on one sec. Coming back to you. Okay, there you are, Rob. Now I see. Now this is Rob 2 cents. Look, you know Rob is in the building.
Yes, Lord.
When you get the Rob 2 cents in the background,
yes,
and you
Lord.
got the shades and the hat on the head.
Yes,
now
Lord.
this is the Rob I want.
Yes,
Rob.
Lord.
His question is, do you think the Grizzlies played better without Morant? I personally think no, you know what? Maybe they do play a little bit better without Morant because they know that not having Morant is going to make them take on more responsibility. So with John Suggs' question, me personally, I'm going to say, yeah, I think they do play better without Morant because they know that the season falls on their shoulders. So they step the fuck up. Pardon my French, but they step up. And they did against the Grizzlies to the point where Golden State is putting their subs in the third quarter, and they're going into halftime with a 27-point lead. And I turned the 4 over with my boy, Rob 2 cents.
I'm gonna let you know right now that is not the case. Now with the Grizzlies, they are a better defensive team without Ja there, because let's just be real. On the defensive side of the ball, Ja Morant is a liability. However, if we really want to be honest,
I like honesty. The Reverend should always be honest.
The Golden State Warriors completely overlooked the Grizzlies, especially without Ja Morant. The Grizzlies came and punched them in the mouth. They did what they were supposed to do. Golden State was already waving the white flag in the third quarter and saying, we'll see y'all when we get home. And I think you're going to see a better Golden State Warriors team tomorrow. They're not going to overlook this Grizzlies team. This Grizzlies team did go 20-5 without Ja Morant, but the Grizzlies team will not be in the position that they are in without Ja Morant. So get that idea out your mind right now. I'm in my element right now.
Well, before we get that idea out the mouth, I do have one question to ask you in reference to the information in which you just shared with us.
Yes.
Because this is what I want to know.
Okay.
Let me ask you this. They're professional athletes, and they have experience, and they have multiple championships to Dub Nation and the Death Squad Part 2. Would you agree with that?
You said, hold on, repeat that one more time.
What I'm saying to you is these guys have experience under their belts.
Okay.
This is Dub Nation. This is Death Squad Part 2, because I call it Part 2 because Wiggins has been added to the equation. You go down in the first quarter by 10. Memphis is coming at you with everything they freaking have. As a matter of fact, the first 5 minutes, or the first 1.5 minutes, they're up 5-0. So you know Memphis ain't playing around.
Right.
If you're the champions of past, and you are still the champions because they have the same damn team, they added Wiggins to. This is a Golden State team that is Golden State, and they're great. They're a great team. Why in the first quarter when you're down 10, why don't you start taking a timeout and say, hey, guys, maybe we kind of overlooked these guys. Maybe we need to click into another gear and get it going. Why does it take the third quarter putting something? Why don't they get it together after the first quarter? Why does it take them losing a game to then realize, hey, we need to get our shit together? Why didn't they get it together after the first damn quarter when you're down 10?
Because they couldn't knock down shots, Jay. That's the simple reason. Klay Thompson was the only one able to show up. Steph Curry, he didn't take as many shots as I would have liked for an MVP player to take, but he also noticed that I'm not knocking down any shots, so he didn't want to shoot them out the game. Sometimes it's better to just say, okay, you got us. You hit me right in the mouth.
No. It's not better to say that, because let me ask you this. What's different about that point in time versus the next game? What's so damn different? And after that first quarter, knowing you're down 10, that makes you think all of a sudden now in the next game you're going to be better. Why can't you just be better right then?
They tried to be better, and they couldn't hit a shot. I don't care who you are. If I can't hit a shot, if the ball is just not falling for me, and the Golden State Warriors, let's not get it twisted, they were getting excellent looks at the rim. Those shots,
that's what I'm saying.
They didn't fall. And that's hey, I know everybody hears this saying in the game of basketball, especially in the NBA, it's a make or miss league. Sometimes not hitting the shots that you need to hit, especially while Memphis is just bringing on the thunderstorm. It was past rain at that point. They bought the thunderstorm. It was tornadoes there. It was hailing. It was hurricanes coming from the ocean. At that point in time, it's like, okay, you got this game. Good game, sir. I mean, you looked up. It was like they were down 55 points at one point, bro. Like at that point, Mike Brown did the smart thing in the third quarter. He knew we're not coming back from this. So rather than have a pointless injury, I'm gonna just pull my team out, because that's a lot of questions that they giving the coach from Memphis. Why was Ja Morant in the game and the game was over?
God. And this is that Mamba mentality, Jordan-esque, I guess, old school basketball. With Jordan would never come out of a freaking game. I don't think he does. I don't think Kobe comes out of a game like that. You know what I mean? Like true champions just don't relinquish like that.
It's a different league in today's league.
I agree with you. I agree so much with you. It is such a different league than what I am. At least what Rob. I don't know when you were born. I know you're a lot younger than me. You're a young guy. You're a baby.
88, baby. 88, baby.
Hey, 72. I don't want to hear it. I was 16 when you were born. You're in my eyes, Rob. You're a baby, okay, and that's a good thing. Nobody wants to be old. We all want to be young. Nobody ever wants to be old. Okay, so that's a compliment to you.
Yes, sir.
So you saying Warriors lost because Poole had an off game, or would you say all those? Or would you say all those turnovers? So was it Jordan Poole? Or was it the turnovers? Because they did commit quite a bit of turnovers.
It wasn't even Jordan Poole. It was Steph Curry couldn't knock down the shot. Wiggins wasn't hitting shots. Jordan Poole wasn't hitting shots. It was an array of players on that team. Anybody that name wasn't Klay Thompson couldn't hit a shot. Yes, the turnovers hurt
Rob,
as well.
Hey, Rob, hold on a minute now. I'm gonna hit you with a little bit of information. I want you to respond to this.
Oh, come on.
Golden State had 22 turnovers. Grizzlies had 10. Golden State had 37 rebounds. Grizzlies had 55.
Yeah.
Points. Hold on now. Points in the paint. Golden State had 36 and Memphis had 50. How do you explain that from Golden State's point? Now, listen, you can have an off game, but damn it, you gonna tell me you can't hustle for some rebounds?
Well,
or you can't get down there in the paint?
Come on, Jay. Let's not act like everybody hasn't been surprised that out of all the games they've played, that this was the first time that Memphis won the rebound battle. We expected in this series Memphis to win the rebound battle. They were the best rebounding team in the league. How it took all the way to game 5.
Come on. I get that.
It took game 5 for them to finally win the rebound battle, bro. And you're going to come down on Golden State?
Bro, but 55-37, Rob. I'm not saying they don't win the rebound battle.
You realize that Kevon Looney is the tallest person on the Golden State Warriors? When Memphis has Triple J, they got Steven Adams. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
They should win the rebound battle by a lot.
And I get it. So by that same logic, it would also be points in the paint. It would be because let's be honest, and that's where not having John Morant hurts you because who was the biggest leader in the paint? John Morant.
Yeah, but now you got Jaren Jackson hitting shots in the paint. Steven Adams getting and ones. Desmond Bain.
But I think let's be honest, Rob.
What they did, come on, Jay. What they did was they took advantage. They finally took advantage of the mismatches. Golden State is a small team.
I agree.
Golden State is a small team. Nobody is afraid of Golden State on the paint. Nobody is scared.
That's true. They're not.
Golden State as rim protectors. No, how Golden State beat you is they just score more than you do.
That's right, because it was evident. Because if you go to let's go to the 3 points. Golden State was 9-13. The Grizzlies were 22-30. I mean, the Grizzlies are 22-30. That's like 75-80% from the 3-point line at 30 shots. That's crazy to me.
So
what does that tell me? So what that tells me is that
Grizzlies were 18-41. You looking at the free throws?
Am I talking free throws right now?
Yeah.
Damn it. Okay, never mind.
Golden State was 14-39.
Hey, listen, I had it in my notes. I had it reversed. I'm sorry.
It's all good, but the Grizzlies shot 44% pretty much, and Golden State shot 35%.
But let me ask you this: so what was up? But even taking the free throws, and I can't believe I wrote that down wrong in my notes. I normally write down everything pretty good, but even in my notes, even if that free throw lines are 22, that means the Grizzlies are going to the line a lot.
They did because Golden State couldn't do anything with their height. And that's what happens when a team understands we got you on the ropes. They threw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the Golden State Warriors. But that's just one game. The Golden State Warriors now has time now to prepare for a Memphis Grizzlies team that's not going to have Ja Morant. They understand that this Memphis Grizzlies team is going to play a different way when Ja Morant is not on the court.
Because, at the end of the game, listen, they played whoop that trick, but who was the trick?
Golden State was the trick.
Who was the trick?
But guess what? You got to go to the Cheis Arena now.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Okay, so
don't make me go get my Golden State.
So now we got to go back to Golden State, and Golden State's up 3-2. We're going back to Golden State. And look, I'll be honest with you, Rob. I'm a practical person, and I very much believe in Murphy's Law, and I believe in all the different things of that nature. I don't see the Memphis Grizzlies in as valiant of an effort And as great of an effort as what they put on last game, I just don't think there's no way they win 2 back-to-back games against Golden State. I think Golden State gets one of those games. They take out the Grizzlies. I just think the Grizzlies are done. But how do you see them? How do you see? Because I know you're a Golden State Warriors guy. How do you see your Warriors playing up against either the winner of the Dallas and Phoenix series? And I got to be honest with you. I know you got Dallas win that series. I still think Phoenix wins it. But either way, if they have to play against Dallas or Phoenix, how do you see Golden State faring against the next level?
Honestly, I think Phoenix poses a little bit more of a problem because of their defense. I'm not really worried about DeAndre Ayton. And then I know with Chris Paul and Devin Booker out there, Phoenix is not going to have a problem scoring the ball. But what I do think about is Chris Paul is willing to take on the challenge of guarding Steph Curry. Devin Booker is going to take on the challenge of guarding Poole or Klay Thompson. You got my boy Mikal Bridges out there, who at one point in time was a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. You got Crowder. You got Ayton, who's going to be a great rim protector. He's going to give some problems to Draymond. The only thing I think about with Draymond is Draymond's going to have the advantage of being a better ball handler, and he's going to be able to get Ayton out of position. But I still got faith that the Golden State Warriors are going to bring that it factor, which is their championship presence. And I think that will help them persevere out of the Western Conference. And even if we look at Dallas side, I'm a little worried because Luka will bring the ball down in the post. But while I'm not so worried about Dallas, because Luka also has a tendency to do too much, in which he doesn't get his team involved and he holds the ball a little bit too long. And it's going to give the Golden State Warriors time to cue in on Luka, and he's going to try to pass it for an open 3 in the final seconds of the shot clock. So Phoenix scares me a little bit more than Dallas, but I still think that the Golden State Warriors bringing that championship state of mind and also getting that refresher of seeing the different team. And we know sometimes Phoenix can go stagnant, and that can work against them in Golden State's favor, where if they get hot at the right time, you know, you might as well open up the floodgates.
Right. We're going to move on real quick, and I agree with you. I personally think I got Golden State taking this series against Memphis. I just don't think Memphis has enough in the tank to take out the experience of Golden State. And I just think Murphy's Law is an experience of the champions are going to overtake Memphis. But like you said, Rob, and I'm going to say it again, I'm going to quote the great Reverend Rob. Reverend Rob said that, hey,
yes,
sometimes you got to go to the woodshed to build your team.
Yes, sir. And like I said, with Memphis, yes, they're going to the woodshed, but this is a good ass whooping. You know how your mama used to whoop your ass back in the day because
I still got welt marks from it. In fact, I got scars, Rob.
You didn't do what you were supposed to do, and every time you thought about doing that thing again, you remember that one ass whooping. And I think this is what's going to help the Memphis Grizzlies. When they feel themselves going back into silly bad habits, they're going to remember this ass whooping that the Warriors put on them, and they're going to realize,
absolutely.
We now have some playoff experience to get the job done, because we called it in the Minnesota game. We said if you do those silly mistakes that you made against Minnesota, against Golden State, they're going to make you pay for it, which is why Golden State is still up 3-2. Yeah, Memphis had a great game. They beat the Warriors by 30-some points, had them down by 55 at one point in time. But at the end of the day, it's just one game. You think Golden State hasn't been beat by 50 before? You think the great Michael Jordan hasn't been beaten by 50 before? Let's go.
Yeah, man. I get it. And then that's what I'm saying.
Don't have me turn up,
if they would have had Ja, I would be a little more optimistic about their chances. But not having Ja there, hey, listen, you're not taking out the death squad like that. So absolutely, I got Golden State taking the next win in Golden State. They're going to relax, they're going to chill, and then they're going to wait to see the outcome of the Phoenix-Dallas series. I will tell you this, Rob. My parents gave me them 1970s butt whoopings. And I don't know if you know what a 1970s butt whooping looks like, but I still got scars from it, Rob.
Oh, I do, because my mama is an old school mama. I remember one time I told my mama, she asked me to do something, and I said, okay, Mom, give me a second. By the grace of God, something told me to turn around, and all I saw was a remote control flying in my head.
Hey,
Tell
listen,
me the damn
hey,
way.
listen, Rob. Let me before I go on this next subject matter, I gotta dive into this just real quick, real fast. I remember one time I took a spelling test in my workbook. It was a workbook. I was in fourth grade. I took a spelling test in my workbook, and I got a bad grade. I think I got like a 65 on it. And the teachers, and I thought in my mind, in my brain, I thought I heard the teacher say, you have to get your parents to sign this. And I'm telling myself, ain't no way in hell Jason gonna take this grade to his mom and have him sign it. And I know my mama's signature looks like, so let me just go on ahead and sign her name on there. Rob, at open house. We go there with the parents. We go to the English part of the class in fourth grade because you got separate classes, and we go to the English part of the class. And then my parents are looking through the workbook. And my mother comes across the 65 grade, and she's like, Jason, you never told me about this. Watch this, Rob. It gets better. And wait a minute. That's not my signature. Why is my name on this? And Rob, I kid you, you can't make this up, Rob, now.
Yes, Lord.
The teacher, quote unquote, said, Jason, I never told you had to get the parents to sign it. And I'm thinking like, damn.
Yeah, put yourself in more trouble than what you
need. Hey, watch this. Damn. Now, Rob, you in so much trouble when your father and your mother don't talk to you for the rest of the visit, number one. And number two, you get in the car and it's so quiet, you can hear a pin drop. It's about to be game on when we get to the house.
Yes, Lord.
Rob, I get to the house. Now, this is the middle of the day. It's about 4:30 in the afternoon. And my dad says, my dad looks at my mother and says in front of my face, I am too angry to deal with this issue.
Oh, snap.
Hey, watch this. Could you please handle this? And my mother looks at me and says, Jay, the tree. Now, we had a big oak tree outside our house, but there were branches that hang down pretty low. Jay, I need you to get me a branch off that tree, and I don't want a 2-inch diameter. I want a very microscopic switch.
Oh, snap. Oh, she wanted to do
Bro, do you know how bad it is, number one, to go pick out the instrument of its destruction, and then number two, have it applied? I'm just saying, 1972, have fun with it what you will. Frankie the Yankee here at work. What's going on, boys? I'm representing Unscripted. Hey, it's about time Frankie the Yankee clicked in. and Damian says Grizzlies don't need Ja. They proved that last night. And during the season, they don't need him. You know what? Maybe so. But I'll tell you this. Against a healthy Golden State Warriors, which they have not played until the playoffs, I kind of think you do. Anyway. And I'm pretty sure Rob would agree with me.
I just don't get sometimes what Damian be talking about, because do you really think that the Memphis Grizzlies would have been in second place in the Western Conference without Ja Morant? Are you forgetting that Ja Morant was an MVP candidate?
I know. Listen,
I love you, Damian. I know you're from Chicago.
Rob, we're about to go down a rabbit hole that we can't get out of. You know the answer that's true. I know the answer that's true. Hell, everybody in the English-speaking language or non-English-speaking language knows what's true. So we're not going to engage Damian. I just thought I would show that comment because I wanted to show Damian some love.
Yeah,
but we all know it's true. We all know it's true. I got to move this show along a little bit because we're already an hour and I hadn't got past the playoffs. So we're going to go into rapid fire mode. By the way, so we're going to wrap up. Bucks Celtics. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. 110, 107. I'm just going to say Giannis played a hell of a good game. Portis bailed the Milwaukee Bucks out with the rebound. And then Drew Holiday secured it with a strip on Marcus Smart for the clearance. Now, I will tell you this, and everybody knows.
Bail out?
Look back on this. Hold on now. Look back at this. If you look at the play, yes, Smart does get fouled because it was a slap on the hand. The referees missed the call. The Bucks kind of squeak it out and go on to the next game. But Rob, Oh, and real quick, but here's the quick. Rob, this is what I really want you to speak on. It's a 3-point difference between the Bucks and the Celtics. The Bucks shot 43.5% from the field. The Celtics shot 51 point whatever from the field. How the hell do the Celtics still come up the losers in this game?
I have 2 words for you. Greek freak. Giannis Antetokounmpo has just showed the world that he is the best player in the NBA today. I need everybody to finally give that man his props because everybody always overlooks what Giannis does. But you have to remember, these past couple of years, Giannis has played some of the best basketball we've seen. Check the credentials. What does Shaq say? Google him.
Google him, damn it.
People got to understand this man has been an NBA champion, a regular season MVP, a finals MVP, a defensive player of the year, and even an all-star game MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek freak, is the best player in the NBA. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say he doesn't close basketball games. Oh, he missed a big free throw at the end. Let me tell you guys something. If it wasn't for him having the cojones to take that 3-point shot and make that 3-point shot after being 2 of 19 throughout the entire series, how many players you know being 2 of 19 from the 3-point line is still going to go to the 3-point line and take that shot? Giannis did what he had to do.
I get that. Hey, real quick, there's a couple of questions that I want to address here real quick. Iverson, excuse me, let me go back up here real quick. And these are questions for that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Because you're my guest, and I really want your opinion on this.
Yes, sir.
John Suggs says, what does the Celtics need to do to get past the Bucks? That's the first question.
They need to take advantage of the fact that Chris Middleton is not there. They are letting Giannis do what he wants to do and then allowing the others to come along for the ride. You have to pick and choose with the Milwaukee Bucks. Either you're going to stop Giannis and let everybody else score, or you're going to stop everybody else and let Giannis do his thing. But you cannot let the team as a whole do what they want to do. Drew Holiday was 21, 9 24 from the field. I think you stop them, and I think you let Giannis do what Giannis does. And that's what I think. Because you let Bobby Portis come into the game, do what he wanted to do. Drew Holiday, even though he didn't have a great shooting night, still showed up defensively, and he hit a big 3 in the end. Not to mention those clutch layups that he does because he's just too big for the Boston defenders. He bullies people in the hole just like Giannis from the point guard position. So my thing with the Celtics right now, they have to channel whatever defense they played against the Brooklyn Nets and bring that intensity to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, real quick, before we go to John Suggs, and I'm not going to stay long on this, and there's a reason why I'm not showing it because it's too ridiculous to show. But I do want to give him acknowledgement because he is a guest of this show, and I don't want to be an a-hole and not give him credit for that. And I love Damian. Even though his things may be misguided, I still like the guy. Damian, we pretty much answered that the Grizzlies play better with Ja versus without Ja. We've already answered that question, so let's move on to another subject matter. Going to John Suggs, Giannis compared to KD, LeBron, and Luka, all 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
He says Giannis is more healthy and a beast going to the rim.
I agree, John. They say the best ability is availability.
I think so. I believe you're right.
The best availability, the best ability is availability, and Giannis is always there for his team. And that's why I compare him to a player like Shaq, because Giannis is so dominant that you know what Giannis is going to do. You try to build this wall, and yet he finds a way to still get to the hole. Now, Iverson, if Chris Middleton does play in Game 6, I want you guys to all scream with me. Bye-bye, Boston.
Now, here's the second question that I want to ask you, and I want to get your opinion on. Iverson Blogs makes a statement that he said he saw a rumor that Middleton might play in Game 6. Now, my question for you would be that if Middleton has an MCL sprain and we all know that a sprain is not far off from a tear, do you play him in game 6? Or would you rather rest him because and hopefully prevent a tear?
I don't know, because my thing with that is, if it's gonna tear, it's gonna tear regardless of when you play him. So I think the earlier you know that, I would play him in game 6, because if he is gonna be able to play the rest of the playoffs, you want to get him warmed up and back into the NBA shape as soon as possible. Now, I'm not gonna overload him with minutes, and I might not even start him, but if he's available, he will see some time in game 6.
Let me ask you a question. Because I don't have the graphic up, and God, I hate my graphic. But if I had the graphic up that Logan would normally give me that had the current situation, they're 3-2 in favor of Milwaukee, correct?
Yeah, correct.
I got to be honest with you, and this is just me talking. If I know that he has an MCL sprain, I don't want to rush him. As a matter of fact, if anything, I want to give him the most amount of time. And I'm willing to go to game 7 to give him that time, whatever it may be. I just feel like personally, Milwaukee can probably beat the Celtics game 6. I really believe that. I really believe if they can beat them games, and if they can't beat them game 6, then okay, if I'm facing a game 7, then I throw Middleton in there and I'm being like, you know what? All hands on deck. But I don't know I go all hands on deck until I'm forced to go all hands on deck. Because if I can beat them in game 6, then that means I got a lot of time in between game 6 and game 1 of those Eastern Conference finals. And I might not even play him against the Sixers or the Heat, because I think that with the team that I have without Middleton could probably beat them. And I may even wait until the finals to bring back Middleton, which gives him even more time to heal. I don't know that I jeopardize a guy who has that kind of an injury until I really, 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 really need to put him in there. You know what I mean?
Jay, I'm a huge fan of Rocky. Have you ever seen the Rocky series?
The Rocky Balboa?
Yeah, Rocky Balboa. Have you ever seen the Rocky movie?
I've been Rocky Balboa fan since before you were born. Don't even ask me that question.
All right, Jay. I was able to run those stairs in Philadelphia, by the way.
Take me back.
If you remember,
now come on now. I'll take you back. Listen, I got more hip hop in my albums than you do, Rob. Don't even play me like that. Don't play me, Rob.
You know what, Jay? What I wanted to say is I'm a huge fan of the Rocky movies. Okay. And if you remember in Rocky 3, Apollo Creed and Rocky had a great conversation. And I'm going to quote the great Apollo Creed, Jay. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
No, you said it in game 7, not game 6. No, Rob, you don't say it in game 6. You said it in game 7.
If Chris Middleton can play in game 6 and we can close them out, I'm going to play him.
Rob, this is where me and you part ways.
I love it though. That's
Rob. We part ways because you quoted Rocky, and you say that when you're at game 7, not necessarily game 6.
No, there is no tomorrow, Jay. I don't care if there is a game 7 looming. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, game 6 is where this train stops.
So let's play devil's advocate for a minute. You play him game 6. He tears his MCL. Then what?
That means he was going to tear it in game 7. So I'm going balls to the wall, and I'm going to put my available superstars out there. And
I can't hate you for it, Rob. I'm not going to hate on you for that. I get your point of view. I get where you're coming from. I do. I just think for me, I'm waiting until game 7. I think I give him game 6 before I go game 7. I feel like the more rest I give him, the better. But I don't think the reason I don't kill.
This is the reason I don't kill Tom Thibodeau. If you remember when Derrick Rose tore his ACL, he rested that entire season. The biggest question in Chicago is when is Rocky coming? I'm reading the question. When is D Rose coming back? And when he finally does come back in the first round of the playoffs against the Philadelphia 76ers, what happens? He tears his ACL. He rested the entire season. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, Jay. If it's going to tear, it's going to tear. Whether it happens in game 6.
No, that's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. Now, I will tell you this from an orthopedic standpoint. Listen, Rob, I've been down the orthopedic road in knees. I know about knees. That's one thing I do know pretty well. From my time in the military, I do know about orthopedic surgeons. And I will tell you this, you can come back from a sprain if you give it time. As a matter of fact, the more time you give it to heal and you go through physical therapy, the better off you are. So I'm a big believer in time. I'm a hold on, Rob. I got you. I'm a big believer in time. I will tell you that John Suggs says, talking about Rocky always went into the last round to go all the way. He never came out slinging. Me personally, I would sit him game 6. Rob, nobody's saying you're wrong for what you're thinking. I don't believe you're wrong in what you're thinking. I'm just saying, for me personally, I think John Suggs would say the same, that I'm a big believer in time. And I think that if I don't need to play him, I don't need to play him. Game 7, okay, game 7 is a different story. Now I got to play him, because if I don't, then I'm screwed. But I think if I get past,
what if he tears his MCL in game 7 and now he's not available for the Eastern Conference Finals?
Okay, I get that. And at some point you live with that. But if you can win game 6 without him, how much more time do you give him to rest before the Eastern Conference Finals? I'm just saying, I'm a believer in time, but I'm not knocking you, Rob. I'm not knocking for you for what you think, because that's a good point as well. I think it's just 2 points of views that honestly makes sense. Both points of views, depending on which way you fall, makes sense.
Both of them make sense. I understand your history with orthopedics, and I respect that. But I also understand that the NBA paid these doctors millions of dollars. And if a doctor on the Milwaukee staff says that he's cleared and he can play,
and I give you that. Rob, I'll give you that. If a doctor comes out and, okay, that's a different story. If a doctor comes out and says, hey, Middleton, you're cleared to go. Now, let's hope the doctor's legit and not being said by the team, quote unquote.
Yeah, I think in today's league, they're a little bit afraid of that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, man. We'll see. But you know what? We're going to turn the tide. We've got to turn the tide. Oh, my God, we've got to turn the tide. 76ers Heat. Right now, Sixers, Rob, do you have the correct score? If not, I'm going to pull it up real quick.
49-48.
It's 49-48, 1 point differential between the Heat and the Celtics. Obviously, the Heat are 1 point up. If we look at the last game, obviously Embiid really was not a factor. He played well. He shot the ball 7 of 12. It's not like his field goal percentage was bad, but he did not take enough shots. He went only 12 shots.
He didn't play well for who he is as a player.
Yeah. Obviously, I think the Heat kind of showed up that game. The Sixers really didn't. Let me ask you this. This is just me. Rob, I want your opinion. This is just me. On the last game, not this game, but on the last game, I really put that loss more on Harden than I do Embiid. Would you agree or disagree?
No, I put it on Embiid.
Okay. Tell me why.
Because Embiid threw a temper tantrum, man. If we pay attention to what happened in that game, Embiid was down and he was hurt that he didn't win the MVP award. Regardless if he says he was prepared for it, regardless if he says he knew 2 weeks prior, based off conversations he had with people around the league, that the Joker was going to be crowned the MVP. When he actually heard the news, he was sad and his heart was not in the game. You can tell in the way that he played, not to mention he did get hurt a little bit. He got hit in the face, and I think that just took his heart out of it.
Right.
If I'm Embiid, my objective would have been to come out and to show the world why I consider myself the MVP. And he completely went the opposite way. That man came out there and laid a stinker. I don't care if he was 7 to 12. There's no way in hell that your star center, the leader of this team, only takes 12 shots, especially when he's showing he's having a good shooting night. Embiid needs to get more down in the post. He needs to stop hanging around the free throw line. He needs to stop hanging around the three-point line, and he needs to go down there and bang. I know that's a tall task to ask for a man with an orbital fracture, but if that fracture is going to keep you from being you, then you shouldn't have came back to play.
Right, absolutely. Real quick announcement. It looks like Saturday we will have Joel Stevens
Hey.
on the show. I got confirmation from him. He said he's going to be able to make the show on Saturday. He was not able to make the show this evening only because he had a dinner to go to. And it's really hard to get Joe booked because he is a very, very busy man. But I was able to get him at least semi-confirmed for Saturday. I will get more confirmation hopefully Saturday morning. But former Houston Rocket / Memphis Grizzlies / judge / school superintendent, a man of many hats, will be on the show hopefully Saturday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern. You don't want to miss that because we're going to get his takes on the NBA playoffs as to what they are. So I'm looking forward to hearing former NBA Joe Stevens' opinion on the playoffs and see if they agree or in alignment with what Rob Scott says, what Pride says, what Frankie says, or what I say. So we'll see what he offers to the conversation as we pick it up. And again, that's Saturday, 8 o'clock Eastern for that show for Joe Stevens. Again, hey, here's the deal. Hero Oladipo, they added 23 points off the bench. They shot 53% to the Sixers 36%, and that really was the difference in the game. And my question is this. I want to move past this game, okay? This game was whatever it was. It's like the Golden State game, right? Mm-hmm. The Golden State Warriors got blown out by Memphis. The Sixers got blown out by the Heat. But now we move on to tonight's game. And right now it's a 1-point differential. Mm-hmm. And if I look at what Embiid has done, and I pull up, kind of where we are at halftime, Embiid has put up, pardon my thing there. Embiid has put up, he's on here.
5 of 14. 14
Thank
points.
you. He's gone 5 of 14 for 14. Maxey has gone 4 of 9 for 10. And Harden has gone 4 of 7 for 11. Now, here's my thing. At what point are we expecting more? Look, we expect it from Embiid. Nobody's saying we're not expecting it from Embiid. And 5 of 14 from Embiid is pretty damn bad. But I'm going to give Embiid a pass only because he has multiple injuries. So I'm going to give him a little bit of a pass because of the injuries. But at what point does Harden say, hey, look, Embiid is coming back, but I need to step my freaking game up. I stepped it up once before and we won. At what point does Harden say, hey, look, I need to take control of this game and I need to help my boy out who's hurt and I need to step my damn game up? I mean, how much importance should we be putting on Harden to help out Embiid?
It should be a lot of importance put on Harden because that's what he was bought here for.
Right.
He was bought here to be Robin to Embiid's Batman. The problem is the NBA scouts for the Philadelphia 76ers, Daryl Morey, as the general manager for the 76ers, they're still looking at Harden as the old Houston Harden. And,
right.
And
that's a problem.
And that wasn't a smart pickup for them. I understand, if this was a couple of years ago, a guy like James Harden goes on the market, you do everything you can to try to get him. But I really feel like they let a lot go to get James Harden. I could see you letting go of Ben Simmons. He wasn't playing anyway, but you let go of
Curry and
you
Drummond.
Let go of Curry and Drummond, which now you actually see when Embiid leaves the court, they get tremendously small.
They really do. They really do.
You lost that shooting from Curry. Now, granted, Harden is a better ball handling distributor than Curry, but he hasn't really done anything for this Philadelphia 76ers team. Let's be real. If we include the one playoff game that James Harden had, where he went for 31 points, out of the half a season, including the playoffs, he's only had 6 games in which he's played tremendously good for the 76ers. That is not a good look. I didn't expect anything from James Harden. Anybody who did expect anything from James Harden, you was a damn fool.
If somebody could tell me how Maxey has 2 more shots than Harden.
Because James Harden does not care about the game of basketball.
He doesn't. He's in it for the money.
He doesn't come into the season in shape. He's trying to rely on athleticism that he no longer has. I am done with James Harden. That's why I don't even care what he does, because after he showed me what he showed me in Houston, when Chris Paul pretty much got you to the promised land, and he goes down with an injury against the Golden State Warriors. Harden, you only have to win one game. He couldn't get the job done.
Hey, hold on, Rob. I gotta stop you for a second because there's two questions in the comments section that I really want to specifically address to you.
Yes.
The first one is Iverson Blog says, Rob, how nervous would you be if Golden State drops Game 6?
Iverson Vlogs, I appreciate your support and watching my boy Jay show Unscripted. He's a hell of a man. And I would be a fool if I sat up here and lied to you and say I'm not going to be over here biting my nails. I would be extremely nervous if the Golden State Warriors drop, because it's not like they haven't dropped a 3-1 lead before. Granted, it was to the King in the NBA Finals, but once that's tainted your resume, it's not like it can't happen again. It'll just be so bad if it's to a Grizzlies team without their star. I would be looking sideways at the Warriors, and I wouldn't expect all of those players to come back the next season. You would entirely have to try to make some major moves to get them some help, because clearly that trio of Draymond, Clay, and Steph has aged a little bit too much.
Hey, second question is, or I should say, it's not really a question, it's more of a statement. I want to get your opinion on it. Embiid was 7-12, John Suggs says Embiid was 7-12. I don't blame on him. If anyone, I would put it on Maxey or Harris. Let me ask, and the question I got off of this comment is, do we put it on Maxey or Harris, or do we put it on Harden?
No, I put it on Embiid. That team goes as Embiid goes. That's normally how it goes when you're a superstar on the team. If he comes out and act like he's disinterested, he doesn't want to play in the game, guess what his team does? His team says, well, if you don't care, why should I?
Right.
And B, he called a temper tantrum. He pouted because he was the MVP. In the words of Shaq, man up, and in the words of Rob Scott, move the hell on.
Yep. Amen. And hallelujah. Frankie, even though it says unscripted, this is really Frankie the Yankee talking. Frankie says the Yankees are up on the White Sox right now, 2-0, top of the second. Frankie, calm down now. It's only top of the second, but I get your enthusiam.
And Frankie, I don't watch baseball enough to care.
Hey, listen, bro. You can't tell me, brother. Hey, listen, you ain't gonna tell me nothing. Hey, listen. Okay, here we go, Rob. We're gonna move on real quick. And by the way, the score currently is Miami 56 and Phoenix 50 with 9:36 left to go in the third. So Miami is up in this playoffs. Rob, you and me have talked about this. If the Suns fail to win a championship,
that's on Philly. That's on Philly.
You're right. It's 58-50. Right. Yeah, it's on Philly right now. If the Suns fail to win a championship, will Ayton be gone? Rob, this is my thought process, and I'm kind of curious as to where you go from here. Ayton is seeking the max value coming off a rookie contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think obviously Phoenix has not made any kind of moves or anything towards saying, yeah, we'll give you the max. If Philly doesn't give him the max, if Philly says, nope, we're not giving the max because we just don't feel as if you're a max guy based on your performance in the playoffs and whatnot, do you think Ayton walks, or do you think Ayton will take less than the max to stay with Phoenix?
I think after Ayton realizes that nobody's going to pay him the max, he's going to stay with Phoenix. Right now, DeAndre Ayton has improved to, at least to me, that he deserves a max contract. Right now, as I've mentioned before on ASAP in the morning, as I mentioned before on Prideful Takes or ASAP Afternoon Blitz, or even on my show, Rob's 2 cents. Let me tell you guys something. This boy DeAndre Ayton should have been licking at the chops that they were playing the Dallas Mavericks. There is nobody on the Dallas Mavericks who can physically oppose DeAndre Ayton. And my problem is he has not taken advantage of the mismatches. He's had several games where he hasn't even gotten double-digit rebounds. I have a problem with that. He should be averaging 25 and 12 this entire series. Who's gonna stop him? Dwight Powell, Maxi Kleber? No, right now DeAndre Ayton should have been taking advantage of every mismatch on that court, and he has not. And that is the reason, my friend, that he will not get the max deal in comparison to what he did to what in the NBA Finals when he let Giannis pretty much baby him in the hole.
All right, here we go. Here we go now. Now listen now. I don't need diatribes, Rob. Reverend, you're not in the pulpit right now. Even though I know you feel like you're in the pulpit.
Hold on.
You're not in the pulpit. he said, hallelujah, praise the Lord.
Yes, Lord.
No. Hey, listen, I've got a gauntlet of things I've got to run by you, Rob, and I really need your fast and values opinion on all of this stuff. So let's go. Look, let's go. I want you to describe it, but let's keep it moving. Does Doc Rivers return if they don't get past the Heat?
That would be a HE double hockey stick. No.
Woo! And I agree with you. I don't know if Doc does return. All right, and then we move on to. And by the way, Frankie says he's going to convert you into a baseball fan by All-Star break. So we'll see if that happens.
Let's do it, Frankie.
So Iverson Vlog says Suns can match any offer if a team throws money at him if they decide to match. Do you think? I guess the question off of that would be: is if the Phoenix Suns don't match his max deal? Is there another team that comes out the woodworks that does?
I mean, it's some teams that'll grab him just for the sake of saying they got DeAndre Ayton. But if you're asking me my personal opinion, there's no team in the NBA right now that's going to say, "Hey, DeAndre, we got max money for you. Come here."
Exactly, especially when you're playing like Charmin.
Straight up tissue soft.
So then John Suggs comes back with. Let's see if I can get that pulled up here real quick. Here we go. John says Ayton can't stay healthy, and I think we've seen that he has had issues with that. I don't know if that's really the biggest issue with Ayton, him staying healthy, as it is the style of play in which he plays, Rob. The fact that he plays soft like Charmin, would you agree that that's more of a concern than him staying healthy?
I agree. His play has been just deplorable. He has not shown up when his number has been called upon. And DeAndre Ayton right now is not playing big man basketball. And I have removed him from my top 3 big men in the league. Cat has taken his place. And I don't even like Cat.
So Iverson Vlogs follows up with, does Ayton not yell for the ball enough?
Well, it's hard to yell for the ball when you're not in a position to receive it.
Hey, listen, I just give you the question, you answer it. If that's your answer, then hallelujah. Praise Jesus. Hey, listen, so we move on to Damian Hernandez. Doc needs to retire. You know what? I don't know if he necessarily needs to retire, but definitely Doc, in my opinion, has taken quite a bit of hits with the teams that he's been with since the Boston Celtics. And I'm going to ask your opinion on this, bro. What do you think, Reverend Rob?
I don't think he needs to retire, but he definitely needs a break. I think he needs to let the water under the bridge settle a little bit, because if you ask me honestly, the situation with Ben Simmons has definitely put a damper on Doc Rivers' coaching record. You never throw a player under the bus as a head coach.
I agree.
Not publicly, at least.
Hey, listen. So this is where it gets interesting. And John Suggs, this is a damn good question, and I'm glad you're asking Reverend Rob this question. Sleeper team next year, in my opinion, with Zion returning, Pelicans go to being scary. They look good in the second half of the season. Honestly, I got to be honest with you. With the way the Pelicans played the Suns, I was on board with the Pelicans. And if you throw Zion in the mix, oh my God. Okay. Reverend Rob, your opinion, please.
I do agree that the Pelicans are going to be a scary sight next year. But also, let's say Philly doesn't get past Miami and Doc Rivers leaves and they go pick up Terry Stotts. does Damian Lillard come to the Philadelphia 76ers? Because I see instant money with that.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just saying.
That's speculation.
Hey, but that speculation ain't too far off now, is it? Okay. Hey, listen, I'm not saying that the Reverend Rob is not out here with his anointing oil. My God, if I don't feel anointed already, I feel anointed.
Yes, Lord.
Iverson Vlogs comes at you with, do you see Embiid asking out anytime soon? God, that's a good question. Does he? I don't know. I don't know if he does or not.
I mean, if the move is right, like if they're trying to form a super team somewhere and he's a free agent, yes. But for right now, I mean, Philadelphia has shown Embiid that they're willing to do whatever they need to try to do to get him some help. I mean, they brought in James Harden, they drafted Ben Simmons, they had Jimmy Butler at one point, bring in Tobias Harris, bring in Steph Curry. I mean, Philly is held up with their end of the deal, and Embiid is time for you to step up.
Hey, listen, I totally agree with you. I'm not even going to talk about Damian's comment about if he bring in Zion, would it be a downfall? Because that's just absolute. Damian, I love you. Please don't leave the show. I love your comments. I love your interaction. But I got to be honest with you, brother. The nicest possible way I can say is, hey, guess what? The short bus will arrive tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. for school. Please make sure you got your helmet on.
And put on your seatbelt.
he said put on your seatbelt. Okay, listen, folks. Okay, we've had enough time for this conversation. Let's move on to the next topic. Hey, listen. All right. Atlanta is interested in Ben Simmons. I don't even know where you go with that. I mean, I get it because you want his defense to come to your team because defense is a focus. Given what your team has been, your defense ranked 26th in the league at 113.7. So you think that if you bring in Ben Simmons, automatically your defense is going to, I guess, drastically improve. I get it. At 6'11", he's a guard who can defend every position. So it does, I guess, to a certain level, make sense. He did go underneath back surgery. He has had mental issues. He has not played in damn near 2 years. I don't know what you're getting. So what exactly do you offer? Okay, here's the question. This is the question that's going to come to you, and I'm going to give you the question. Me personally, if I'm Atlanta, I'm staying clear of Ben Simmons. I don't think I'm taking it on. But Rob, the connoisseur of knowledge of NBA and NFL that you are, I want you to tell me, if you're going to bring on a Ben Simmons, what would you give up in return?
I don't know what you give up. I'm not giving up John Collins, and I'm not giving up Trae Young, obviously. However, that is intriguing. Because if you bring Ben Simmons on board, you can essentially turn Trae into Steph into being more an off-the-ball guard, in which I think that will benefit Trae because I think he has a lot of problems sometimes because he can't penetrate the hole due to his size. Not just height, but he's a small guy. You know, so if you essentially have Ben Simmons being your point forward, and you got John Collins down there lurking around the paint, and you have Trae hanging around the three-point line, which he likes to do anyway, I can only imagine the open shots that Trae Young is going to be able to get now with him not having the ball in his hand. And I think that turns Atlanta into a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference. Now, what you give up for him is the question, because it depends on what the Brooklyn Nets are willing to accept from a player that hasn't played yet, considering the fact that they've picked up his big contract.
Okay, hold on real quick. I got a couple of questions for you.
I like that.
Going forward, I got a couple of. My first question is this.
Excuse me.
Right now, there is 5:31 left in the third. 5 minutes, 31 seconds left in the third. It's a jump ball, and Miami is up by 13 points, 65-52. I want to know who you – look, right now Miami's up 3-2. and they're up by 13 damn points with 5:28 left in to go, and Philly's got the ball. Who wins this game? Is this it for the 76ers?
I'm hoping Philly wins the game and turns this into a game 7. But if they lose to the Miami Heat,
it's looking plausible, right? It's looking plausible.
This will be 2 teams in 2 consecutive years that beat you that no one thought stood a chance against you. I think this will be a new low because losing to Atlanta is one thing. But losing to Miami without Kyle Lowry.
So let me ask you this. Now, here comes the question. I'm going to hit you with it. And I don't want a long diatribe because we don't have a lot of time, but I want an answer. If Philly loses to Miami, how does that then affect your thought process on Embiid?
It doesn't affect it at all. I think Joel Embiid had a better regular season than the Joker. To me, personally. That's just how I feel.
Hey, listen, I'm not trying to change it. I'm just asking a question.
No, that was a great question. Great question.
Hey, Rev, don't think I'm trying to change the Bible. The Bible's written in stone.
That was a great
God
question.
said in John 3:16.
But Austin 3:16 says, "I just whipped your ass." No,
hey, listen, I know. Trust me. Hey, high five that. Okay. So here's the question now to you: would you, Rob, if you're the Trailblazers, add Jeremy Grant or Josh Hart and Justice Winslow? I don't know Josh Hart. I know Josh Hart a little bit, but I don't know Justice Winslow. So I don't have a research enough to make the distinction on this. But Rob, I'm going to ask you, what would you do?
Without a shot of a doubt.
Okay.
Grant is coming to Portland. If I got a chance to get Jeremy Grant, at one point in time, Jeremy Grant was the only reason Detroit had a relevant name.
Yeah. So John Suggs posed the question: if the Heat lose, you see them land Donovan Mitchell for Hero and Robinson. That's a good one. I think
Tyler Hero. No, that's not enough for Donovan Mitchell. If I'm Utah and I trade
not
Donovan
if you're
Mitchell
Utah. No, not if you're Utah. You're right. You're not if you're Utah. But at the same time, look. This is what I do. I don't know if I'd make it for those two particular guys. And I don't know if I even trade Donovan Mitchell. I think maybe if I'm Utah, I'm going to look to trade Gobert before I do Donovan Mitchell. Because I know with Donovan Mitchell, I got a number 1. With Gobert, I don't even have a number 2.
Now, I know what I said about DeAndre Ayton, but I would say this. If I'm Utah, I'm going to Phoenix, and I'm saying I'll give you Gobert for DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, I can see. Hey, listen. I don't have an issue with that one bit at all. Because with Gobert, they have nothing. They get rebounds. I get rebounds. And yes, you do get some defense. But that's about it. And you have not gone anywhere beyond the first round with the current lineup.
But Gobert would kind of fit better into Phoenix's style, because then you're just going to have somebody lurking around the paint. And when Chris Paul penetrates, that's going to be an easy alley-oop for Gobert.
That's true. And you do have McGee in your backup.
He is not going to have to do anything offensively but rebound and catch lobs.
Right.
He is not there to score. So
right.
I think that would be a better fit for Gobert. And then it'll be a better fit for Ayton, who can score a little bit in the paint. And that's what Utah so desperately needs when their offense goes stagnant. But if the Utah Jazz trades Donovan Mitchell for Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson, they will become the dumbest franchise in NBA history.
Hey, listen, I totally agree with you. And I do think that the Ayton for Gobert does make sense for both sides of the coin, because for Phoenix, you still got McGee, who, if whatever Ayton's not giving you, you have McGee who plays well and is your kind of relief to come behind him. So you're not really losing a whole lot.
No, you keep really McGee. You keep McGee, you start Rudy Gobert, and now you just go from big to bigger as far as defensively goes.
No, that's absolutely true. And then you have Jason Suggs coming back in with, if I can get this, my computer's working so slow today. What about the Lakers trading Russell Westbrook for Phoenix, Malcolm Brogdon and Buddy Hield?
I mean, any trade for Russell Westbrook at this point is a good trade.
Is a good thing, right? I don't think it's a bad thing. That's for damn sure. And then Iverson blog said, I think Iverson Gobert lands in Charlotte. That would be interesting to see if that happens.
I like that because, I mean, they really had Mason Plumlee. Mason Plumlee, as much as I like him, he's an aging center. You bring in Gobert, which is going to ramp up Charlotte's defensive intensity. You still got Bridges there. You still, of course, going to have LaMelo Ball, who's going to be able to get Gobert a bunch of lobs. I like that. I think that'll be a great improvement for Charlotte.
No doubt. And then he says, I would hang up the phone. I don't want no Gobert. And then, but then David Hernandez comes in, brings Simmons to Chicago. We need defense. Hey, listen.
I would like that. I would look into trading Pat Williams for Ben Simmons. I was going to
ask you that. As a Chicago guy, would you take on Simmons?
I would explore that option. Just because Ben Simmons brings another aspect of ball handling, he can.
But here's the deal. Here's my problem.
Patrick Williams is not much of a scorer. So
I get that. I get all that. But Rob, what I want to ask you this is this: if you're Chicago management and you're going to bring on this guy, would your concern not be the fact that he hasn't played in 2 years? And when is he ever going to? The fact of the matter is, it's not that Ben Simmons couldn't give you defense. The fact of the matter is when will Ben Simmons be available to be on the damn court?
Well, that's going to be the questions that I'm asking before that deal gets signed in ink. Before that ink is dry, I'm talking to him. I'm saying, hey, maybe I take him to Harold's to get a 6-piece with some lemon pepper. Or I take him to go get an Italian beef dip with hot pepper.
Hey, I get you.
And we're gonna have a talk over lunch. And I'm gonna say, hey Ben, where's your mind at these days? Because before I sign this deal, I need to know if you're gonna be available to play for us.
And that really is the issue, is the fact that he's not available to play. That's got to be the biggest damn. It's not what he can do in the court. It's the fact that he's not on the damn court. And that's got to be your biggest concern. He should be available
by the beginning of next season. But he's already had the surgery. By that time, he should be through with recovery. The thing is, now mentally, are you prepared to get back on this court? Because that's the problem with Ben Simmons. That's the problem with a lot of these NBA players. They are soft.
Right. No, I get it. They are soft.
You cannot let what fans say get to you. You cannot let what other players say get to you. And in this case, you cannot let what coaches say get to you. You need to understand what you can do and what you bring to the table.
Now, Iverson Vlog says, and of course, this really is more pertinent to you because this is your team. What if LaVine leaves Chicago and he lands in Dallas? What would that mean what would that mean for the Bulls, really?
What do we get in return? Do we get Jalen Brunson?
Exactly. What would you get in return?
Do I get Jalen Brunson?
Like, I guess the real question is, and the question I want to ask you specifically really is, and if we can get a little beyond this, is coming into next year for the Chicago Bulls. So let's be honest, showed a lot of promise, struggled against top 5 teams, but
they were injured all year.
But obviously had injury issues.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But had injury issues. So take all that into consideration. What does the prognosis look like for late 2023 or wherever the hell that is, basketball resumes? What is the prognosis for the next year's Chicago Bulls?
I'm gonna be honest with you. If I'm the Bulls, I'll get these health issues taken care of, get everybody their surgeries that they needed during the offseason. And if no significant trade is on the table, I'm running it back with the same year, with the same team.
Right. You got John Suggs stepping in saying he basically would give LaVine a 1-year contract. What do you do with that? Do you
I wouldn't give him a 1-year contract, but I'm definitely not giving LaVine a max contract. He didn't play like it.
Right. So what would you give him?
A 2-year deal.
Okay.
I do 2 years. What? We do 2 years, 35, 40 million.
We're going to speak on this real quick because I know you're not a big baseball guy, so we're going to move through this relatively quickly, but I do want to address it because And Major League Baseball, so far up to date, there have only been 2 no-hitters. And a no-hitter in baseball is I can't even tell you how significant that is, but it's pretty damn significant, especially when it comes at the hands of a rookie, a freaking rookie, and he gets a no-hitter. Do you know how hard that is? That's like going to the lottery damn near and bidding $50,000 on Richie Reich or whatever that was that hit the 80-1 long shot at the Kentucky Derby. That's about how that looks. You know what I'm saying? And Reed Detmers, unfortunately, God forbid, he does it in my division of all places with the Angels of all teams that I'm trying to compete against. But, hey, listen, man. Hey, look, I got to tip my hat. Hey, young man, I don't want to put no negativity on you because you know what? I know how hard it is to be able to play in the game of baseball. So I'm going to give you some major shout-outs because I want you to be successful because I don't want to be that guy that puts hate on somebody's career. I don't want to be that. He came into the game with a 6.33 ERA. So prior to the no-hitter, he had a 6.33 ERA. Now, what that means, if you don't follow baseball, is that means he was giving up damn near almost 6.5 runs a game before the no-hitter. And for him to come into tonight and to go up against Tampa Bay, who is a very, very difficult team to beat. I mean, a very difficult team to beat. And they get a 12-0 win ratio over Tampa Bay, which means the offense was obviously clicking on all gears to support him. Mm-hmm. He's the youngest pitcher. Since 2006 when Anibal Sanchez for the Marlins had his no-hitter. So it's been quite some time. But you know, for a guy to come into the league at 22 years of age and as a rookie get a no-hitter, that says something. I don't care who you are as a person, mentally, physically, emotionally, talent-wise, it takes everything you have to put on that kind of performance against a team like the Tampa Bay Devil Rays.
Not to mention, and look, I know I don't watch baseball.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
But I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Cheis Gonzo and Greg for teaching me some things earlier. And your defense also has to be right as well because sometimes
it does. Absolutely.
It's gonna be hits that they do hit, but your defense is able to recover. And not to mention, it's very rare for a pitcher to pitch a no-hitter due to the fact that he got to stay in for the entire game. That usually doesn't happen in baseball.
It does. It really, especially
look at your boy sounding like he know baseball.
No. Hey, hold on. Time out. No, we're gonna do this the right way, Rob. We're not gonna do this the wrong way. We're gonna do this the right way. I want to introduce to you my boy, Reverend Rob. Has graduated the basic entry-level course of baseball, and we're going to take a 5-second hand clap to acknowledge that.
Yes, Lord.
I challenged Rob earlier to learn something about baseball because it's not his sport of forte, and Rob has learned something. And something is always better than nothing. And if you don't learn nothing else on Unscripted, I have said this many times, as well as Logan and Frankie, the Unscripted podcast is all about a lot of things. Gender equality, racial equality, everything that you can be, beat it. Don't settle for nothing less than your best. And we're seeing it. Rob is growing. As a sports podcaster, Rob is growing. He accepted the challenge, and he is growing. And I'm telling you, we can all grow. We can all grow in every different levels of aspects. I need to learn hockey. I don't know hockey. I'm going to learn hockey. And because Rob has learned baseball, I am going to learn hockey. Damn it. But, hey, listen, I want to get back to this guy. Listen, he's a younger pitcher, like I said, since Anibal Sanchez. He did it in 108 pitches, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. Now, listen, there's a guy over there, a phenom, who's 20 years old, who had 17 pitches or 17 innings of perfect baseball. 17 innings, Rob, of perfect baseball. I'm just saying. And he did it in Japan. Not to say Japan is lesser than the U.S., but this guy's 22, and he's had his first no-hitter. All I'm saying is there is a crop of pitchers coming up in the MLB that are going to surprise you. And, Rob, it's amazing that these athletes, and I don't know if it's nutrition or the way they work out, but I'm telling you, and we see it all over the place, football, basketball, baseball, but these younger athletes are really taking advantage of all of the resources available to them to make themselves at the best of their game.
Well, I think it's the advancement of science. If you look, compared to how the old school game was played, and this is in any sports, these doctors evolve and they understand that certain exercises you can do, certain things you can eat to prolong your career or to make you a better physical specimen. And these guys are taking advantage of it, not to mention the fact that you said it's a guy in Japan. You had 17 perfect innings. The international aspect of sports is just beautiful. I heard that, they're going to be playing baseball in London, which is beautiful. Think about if that goes well, now you can take baseball to South America. Now you can take American baseball to Japan, where most of these players are coming from anyway.
Exactly.
So now you're just advancing the sport and bringing more minorities back to the game of baseball.
What's interesting is John Suggs, and I don't know what pitcher this is, but it's pretty damn amazing. If there's a pitcher at the University of Tennessee, and I need to do some research on that, and I will do my research, and I'll find out who that is. But apparently there's a pitcher at Tennessee that's throwing 105.5 miles per hour. Now, Rob.
That's amazing.
Rob, there is nobody to date. When I say to date, there's nobody as of right now where me and you are currently standing talking on this podcast. There's nobody in baseball that's ever thrown 105.5. So that means this guy is basically throwing the fastest of anybody ever in baseball. And that's incredible.
That's amazing. I mean, the picture that comes to my mind when I think of speed is Burley. If you remember, he played for the White Sox. He was a backup pitcher. That man had an arm. I do remember that because I was watching baseball when the White Sox won the championship. And I can just tell you guys right now, man, if you're throwing at 105 miles per hour, think of it like this. If a Ferrari started off at the same time you wind up that pitch, that ball is going to get there before that Ferrari does.
Bro, do you know how violent? No, for real. Hey, Rob, do you know how violent of emotion it is to put on the body when you're a pitcher? Seriously, it's a very violent emotion.
It's all one motion, and what people don't understand is you're using more than just your arm. You're pitching with your body. Yeah. It starts from
it's your entire body. If you ask me, okay, Rob, this is just if you ask me, okay, who has a harder technical skill, an NFL quarterback or a pitcher? I'm going to say pitcher. You know why? Because your brain, your body, everything mentally has to be so perfect to do what you do. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be that way as a quarterback, but let's be honest. I played football and I played baseball. Yeah. And I've been quarterback and YMCA, and I was a pitcher in YMCA. And I'll tell you every day of the week, I always thought it was much harder to be a pitcher than it was a quarterback. Rob, I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with you because I believe as a pitcher, there's a very small chance of error. See, in football, as a quarterback, you can be bailed out by your receiver. How many times have we seen great receivers bail out bad quarterbacks that can just have awful passes? In baseball, you have this small square that you have to stay within called the strike zone that you have to be able to get. If you throw outside of that strike zone, then of course you're going to walk your hitter. So you have to think, not only do I have to be fast with my pitch, but I also have to be accurate.
Bro, but there's so much your brain has to function. Your brain has to function, physical movement, along with strategy and tech. I mean, it's incredible.
And not to mention, you have to have great hand-eye coordination.
God, do you ever? I know baseball is not as fast-paced, moving, and things like that of football and basketball. But, when you think about the skill set to hit a ball and to throw a ball and the hand-eye coordination of the skill sets on both ends, pitching and hitting, I got to be honest with you, man. Baseball is really damn difficult. It's freaking damn difficult,
man. It's a very technical sport. And I
it's
feel like
crazy. It's crazy.
Baseball is a sport that you can't fake it in. Like you have to be skilled.
You can't hide behind nothing.
You have to be
all right,
skilled.
Listen. Now I'm gonna give you and Rob, off this graphic, you're gonna kind of get the top 10, I guess, transfer portal QBs, whatever. I just kind of put this graphic up as most relevant to the subject matter. I kind of gave you this a while back. I don't know if you were able to, because that Rob, I know you're busy, man. I know you got a lot of things going on the plate. I don't know if you're able to really kind of dive into the whole transfer portal thing. I kind of looked at it previously. I'm not gonna ask for all 10. I'm just gonna kind of go with 5. I just want to kind of get your 5, I guess, best transfers in the portal system. And my top 5 are this. I got Caleb Williams going to USC from Oklahoma. He did 1,912 yards, 21 TDs, 4 picks, which I think is pretty damn freaking good for the SEC. So I got him going as my number 1. And I kind of think that Caleb Williams could be the number 1 pick. It depends on where he declares. But I really believe he's going to go out in 24. I don't think he goes in 23, but I got him being the number 1 pick in the 24 draft. Number 2, I got Dylan Gabriel going from Oklahoma to UCF, University of Central California. Mm-hmm. He didn't really have a good 21 season. He did 814, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks. But he got to remember he had a broken clavicle, which kind of really inhibited his 21 season. But overall, he's 61 for 11 in the last 2 seasons. So I'm really kind of giving him the number 2 nod based on his past performance, not necessarily 21 performance, which he had a broken clavicle. And that's why I got him at number 2. And that's if he's fully healed. We don't know if he's fully healed, but I would imagine he would be, at this point, fully healed from that. At number 3, I got Spencer Rattler from South Carolina. He went to South Carolina out of Oklahoma. He lost the job to Williams, but he had 40 touchdowns, 12 picks in 3 seasons. And again, he stayed within the SEC. So I kind of got to keep him at least at the number 3 spot. Mm-hmm. So I got Spencer Rattler at number 3. At number 4, I got Jackson Dart who went to Ole Miss from USC. So he's basically going to the SEC, a harder conference than where he came from. And he had 2,021 yards and 9 touchdowns and 5 picks. And I think he's going to be a better fit under Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. And again, he's going to the SEC, a harder conference. So I'm going to go ahead and put him at number 4. At number 5, rounding it out, I got Casey Thompson going to Nebraska from Texas, which I kind of wish he would have stayed at Texas because Texas is going to the SEC next year. But he did put up 21 yards. Or no, he put up 2,113 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 picks. You cannot overlook the performance in the Big 12. And in 15 games, he put up 30 touchdowns and 9 picks. And that's why I got him rounded out my top 5.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. So who would you pick your top 5 out of that list?
I agree with you on your list. Honestly, though, I would probably take out Dylan Gabriel. He might be a little bit further down. And I like Cameron Ward. Now I understand he didn't play, like in a bigger league, but a bigger conference, but you gotta understand to throw for 4,600 yards, 47 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. That's saying something. I don't care what
I agree.
I don't care what league you playing in. That guy right there is a beast.
No, I agree. I agree with you.
So I agree with your list, but I like
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with your list, but I'm gonna have to put Ward in that.
Absolutely, my brother. Moving on. We're gonna go into. Oh, I hit the wrong. I love when I hit the wrong button. Will the Rob? Will the Bengals make it back to the Super Bowl next year? And here's my deal on it, Rob. And then I want you to give me your full accoutrement of what you think. If we look at the history of past, if we go back to the history of past, the 71 Cowboys won the following year. The 72 Dolphins and their perfect season went the next year. 2018 Patriots did it as well. So that's three teams that have gone back and done it. Of course, there are other teams that have not. Obviously, you could look at the Atlanta Falcons and of course, several other teams. They got good wide receivers. They got a good running back, probably a top 10 running back. They're a young team, got probably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the NFL, probably at least a top 5 guy. And it's really truly his second year. I do not count his first year because of the injury.
He was hurt.
I only really count Joe Burrow his second year as his true freshman year. You know what I'm saying?
You call him by his right name. That's Smoking Joe.
Smoking Joe, baby. I get it. Look, they have good edge rushers in Hubbard and Hendrickson. Joe Burrow had a great season last year at 46-11 with 34 touchdowns. They have 2 weak areas going into the draft that they needed to address. One was the offensive line. The other was the secondary. They upgraded the O-line with Lyle Collins out of, unfortunately, the Dallas Cowboys, and Kappa at center out of Kansas. And they drafted Daxton Hill to help out Apple, who we all know had struggled. They drafted Daxton Hill to give Apple some help in the secondary. So I got to look at the Bengals, what they did last year, the upgrade on the offensive line, the upgrade at secondary, and what they currently have at the front seven on defense. And I can absolutely, unequivocally tell you that I'm not saying it's going to happen. I would give it at least a 60% chance that they make the Super Bowl again next year. And I turn over my boy, Reverend Rob.
No, but all jokes aside, though, I do like Smoking Joe. I think he's going to be one of those top 10 quarterbacks for a long time in this league. I love the tandem with him and Jamar Chase. But I want to let you guys know something right now. With as strong as the AFC has gotten, in particularly the AFC West, they ain't making it to the Super Bowl next year. I just want to let you guys know. I'm sorry. The Cincinnati Bengals, they had a great year. It was a Cinderella of a tale. But in the end, unfortunately, Cinderella is not leaving with the prince in this story. They're not making it back to the Super Bowl. I really do think it's going to come down to either the Los Angeles Chargers or the Kansas City Chiefs coming out of the AFC.
No,
I'm sorry. One other team in the Buffalo Bills. I'm not going to do them dirty because the Buffalo Bills literally.
I'm about to say Buffalo really has played pretty. I mean,
I'm not going to do Josh Allen.
Buffalo has a good shot next year. I think they're going to improve off of what they learned. John Suggs says that list is wrong. Hey, look, Sean, I put the list off of ESPN. I'm not saying it's a correct list. I'm just trying to tell you this is a list of people that have gone to the transport portal. That was the reason for the slide. Now, in terms of who you pick off that slide, now that's your opinion. Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix, JT Daniels. Hey, nobody's going to argue with those picks. Those are good picks. I just like the fact that Spencer stayed in the SEC. I think JT Daniels went to West Virginia, and I'm not sure they're not SEC. I'm not sure what conference that exactly is. But I think that Spencer Rattler did the best job out of the three to be a legitimate candidate for that spot because he stayed in the SEC. And that's only because the SEC is the dominant conference. And so that's why I base my opinions off of the SEC because of how dominant the competition is within the SEC. And that's just my opinion. Sander Arroyo Sanchez goes on to say, well, what does Sander say? I know y'all see Miami closing things out. Hey, look, right now, I'm not going to say nothing until the end of the fourth quarter because I think even the Reverend will tell you that Boston came back against the Bucks in the fourth quarter with a dominant performance. So you can't say nothing until the end of the game. I'm just saying. Reverend, if I'm wrong, call me.
Oh, no. Oh, Sander, I do see that, man. I know you are very happy. I haven't talking to you personally, but I do realize, Sander, you are a huge Miami Heat fan. More power to you. Congratulations on your team making it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm not saying that they're not going. I'm just saying, hey, listen, I don't cut nothing out to the final whistle. Unless it is that pretty close to a final whistle. So Sander Arroyo Sanchez says, yo, Rob, go tell Ron and B he needs some milk.
Hey, Ron right now is putting on the Atlanta Hawks hat. He is no longer associating himself with the Philadelphia 76ers.
Man, hey, that's crazy.
Oh, I love you, Ron. I love you, brother.
Hey, we love you, Ron. We do. We love you, man. Hey, listen. This is the last. Hey, listen. This is the last topic we're gonna talk about tonight before we head on up out of here.
It's gonna be hot. I love this topic.
Bro.
Right now.
Woo. Okay, here's the question I'm gonna ask you, and then I'm gonna get my take on it. I'll get your take first.
Yes, sir.
Rams versus Broncos. Is this the Christmas game we want? Hey, look.
Yes.
First of all, Rob, I'm gonna come to you. Hold on, man, Rob, you know what you remind me of?
I'm excited.
You remind me of that young kid who's about like 16, and he's got that 17-year-old girl in bed, and mom and dad aren't home, and he's about to make it to the bed to have sex, and just goes all over the place before he even makes it to the bed. Hold on, Rob. Hold on. It's gonna come to you. Hold on. Listen. Rams and Broncos. He like right over. Rob, I know you love that analogy.
Oh.
Hey, listen. Matt Stafford and the Rams are a hell of a good team. Nobody gonna doubt that. Nobody gonna doubt that.
Super Bowl champion.
The Broncos with Russell Wilson at the helm, and Judy's gonna be there because there's only a misdemeanor. Is a good matchup too, and I'm not saying I don't want to see that. But I gotta be honest with you, Rob. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is what I want, and I want to hear what you want. And if you're okay with this, you're okay with it. And I'm not saying it's a bad selection. I just think it could have been better. For Christmas, I want better. And I think the best analogy would have been the Bengals and Rams Super Bowl rematch at Christmas. I'm just saying, give Joe Burrow his due diligence to come back and take some pride. That's just me. If I'm the NFL, I got Burrow versus Stafford, Super Bowl rematch at Christmas. It's almost like WrestleMania, the best there is, in my opinion. That's just me. Rob, please give me your opinion.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm excited that the NFL is coming to Crimmel. So merry early Crimmel, everybody. And I want to tell you something right now. To me, I actually like this game. I think with Russell Wilson, it's the unknown. Okay, we know what he has been in Seattle. He was a godsend to that team. And later on, no offensive line there. He got beat up a lot. But I think Russell Wilson is still a top-tier quarterback. He's a hell of a man off the field, and on the field, I think he still has enough juice to make the Broncos do a little something, because to me, that's what they were lacking. They were lacking a quarterback. They already have the defense. They have somewhat similar, have some decent receivers on that team. Not anybody that's world breakers, but you have some receivers on that team to at least give Russell somebody to throw the ball to. And I think the Denver Broncos are going to make a statement this year. And of course, I think the Chargers are still the team to beat in the NFC. I actually like this matchup. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. By the time Christmas gets around, we should kind of have an idea of who teams are, what identity they created for themselves. And I'm actually excited to see this game. I want to see Russell Wilson go against some competition. You're on a better team now. There's no more excuses. Let's find out if you are who you think you are.
Right. And I'll be honest, like John says, Bengals versus Rams, Chargers versus Chiefs for Christmas, in my opinion. Look, either one of those
I like that one. I like that one, though. Now
I do too. Because
Chargers
what the Chargers did on
versus
defense.
Chiefs. Oh my God.
Exactly. Especially since what the Chargers did on defense.
That's box office.
Hey, look, guys. Look, Bengals, Rams, Chiefs, Chargers, Bengals, Rams, which I think would have been the perfect one. I mean, you can't go wrong with any one of those three. All three of those games are going to give you competitiveness. All three of those games are going to make your Christmas on the edge of your seat to see who wins. I will tell you this, and Rob, I'm going to be honest with you. I am so thankful that I don't see, and God knows, I feel bad for the Detroit Lions, but I'm sick of seeing the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving.
On Thanksgiving?
They suck. Everybody knows they suck. I don't want to see I don't want to see the Lions on Thanksgiving. I want to see competitive football.
I don't want to see the Cowboys either. I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, no, for real. Hey, listen. I'll be honest with you. I got one train of thought. Hey, look. On all the matchups you just listed, I wouldn't want to see the Cowboys either. I mean, hey, look. One thing about journalism is you have to have the ability to be, non-biased towards your personal teams, and I think we have that. And I can tell you, if I'm a fan on Christmas Eve, I would want to see those games before I see a Cowboys game. I just do. I'll be honest with you. I
definitely don't want to see the Bears on the holiday, so I agree with you.
It is. At the end of the day, it is what it is.
But I'm gonna tell you like this, Jay. I think the NFL needs a better team to evaluate how they're going to do games. Because let's be honest, when the NFL goes overseas and play London games, they never choose the right matchups. Who wants to go to London to see the Jaguars?
They always have the Jaguars. I don't know why the Jaguars are overseas playing anything.
So why are we surprised that the NFL don't pick out good games? NFL,
when I get
Unscripted, give the people what they want.
Rob, when I can go to Jacksonville and get 2 seats for the price of 1 discount, do you really think I'm going to go overseas to watch these motherfuckers? I'm just saying. Hey, I don't know how 2 guys can go 2 hours and 17 minutes on 7 topics, but we managed to do it. And you know what, Rob? Damn if I haven't had a good ass time. Honestly.
Man, I've had a great time, Jay. I want to personally thank you for inviting me on this show. I am more than happy to come do Unscripted again. I've had an awesome freaking time, my brother.
Hey, listen, and he's not just saying that because we were voted Ebby and Ivory Part 2. He really means that shit.
Yes, I do. Hey, Jason, McLovin, you welcome to the barbecue anytime, my brethren.
That's good because you know what? I got Sweet Baby Ray's 2 cases in the back of my truck. So yes, I'm Lord. Coming. I'm coming with some sweet. Hey, listen. I'm coming with some Sweet Baby Ray's and 2 cases of Bud Light. I'm ready to roll.
I'll break out the cognac. Let's get it.
Hey, listen. If you break out the cognac, you better break out a bed, a pillow, and a blanket on the couch because I'm sleeping.
Hey, at House Robert Scott, we don't send people home drunk. You're more than welcome to crash.
Hey, look, you don't got a choice. I'm either sleeping on the couch or in the front yard. At some place I'm sleeping.
Hey. You're welcome on the couch, brother. Under the good AC. Under the good AC.
That's all I want. Just can a brother get a pillow, a blanket, and some AC? Look, I'll sleep on the floor. I'll sleep in the kennel with the dog. I don't care.
Hey, we're civilized here. We keep extra pillows and blankets right in the basket.
God, I love you, Rob. We have come to the portion of the program where
that ain't Rob. That's Joy. That's Mrs. Rob.
Hey, listen. Hey, and tell Mrs. Rob I love her, and I don't even know her first name, but I'm gonna call her Mrs. Rob anyway. Hey, listen. We come to the end of the portion where we are at final thoughts. Rob, here's where I want you to plug any and all. Look, wherever I can find your ass. This is where I want you to plug it with anything else you want to say before we get the hell out of here.
Hey, first of all, again, I want to thank you, McLovin, my boy Jay, for inviting me on Unscripted. I had an awesome time. If you guys want to see more of your boy Rob Scott, hey, check me out. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, also on the Rewind Sports 60 Roku channel. We also on Apple TV. We on Android TV. Your boy Rob everywhere. This has been the boy that's hot, the boy Rob Scott, talking and tuning in to the hottest sports conversation in the nation, baby.
Hey, Rob. So John Suggs, if I come to your house and I get the barbecue, do I get the cornbread and greens too, motherfucker?
Hey, bro. Hey, if you come to my house to eat, you gonna eat. You feel me?
Hey, listen. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I love some good cornbread, and if you got some good collard greens, oh hell yeah, it's on, motherfucker.
Hey, Jay, have you seen me? I gotta lose a little weight right now. I'm on my stop smoking trick. I'm 2 days in. Stop smoking cigarettes. So I'm proud of myself.
First of all, hey, speaking of that, hey, this is my final thoughts. Number one, Rob, let me tell you something from a former smoker. I smoked for 21 years, a pack a day, and I'm gonna tell you what you can experience. It's gonna be 3 weeks, Rob.
Yeah,
21 days. 21 days of hell. But when you reach day 22, I promise you, if you have not had a cigarette, when you reach day 22, it gets easier. I swear to you, it gets easier.
Hey, I'm willing to fight this battle, baby.
Hey, listen, man. Stay strong. I got your back. 22 days, and you're good. 22, so Rob.
That means I got 20 days left to go, baby.
That's right, 20 days. Hey, and don't even think about it. Just keep doing your day as it comes, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, real quick. As you know, we've had Rev Rob. This is the first time I've had Rev Rob Scott on my show. They call him Rob 2 cents. I call him Rob $1.25 because I feel like the knowledge I get from him is more than just 2 cents.
I appreciate that. I love that.
Hey, so I call him $1.25, Rob. And if you listen to this podcast, you're going to get a lot of knowledge out of it. I encourage you to visit him on Facebook and get in touch with him on Facebook, comment on it. And Rob, as always, it's been a pleasure the first time out. I wish Frankie would have been here because I feel like it would have been more heated up. I feel like Pride would have got his scared ass on here. It would have been a little bit more heated up.
Well, you know what? Let's give Pride a break because, you know, he took a family trip.
No, I'm not giving Pride shit. You know what kind of Pride put me through? Hey, listen, I give two flying apps to my Pride right now because Pride is giving me the smoke and put me down hardcore. So no Pride. Pride is running. He didn't want to smoke. Rob killed him, and that's the way I see it. It's the way it's gonna be.
Hey, I told you I'd be here, man, so I showed up for you, brother.
Hey, listen, I thank you for showing up too, man. Hey, listen, like I said again. Rob, I know you got things going on in your life. I'm going to give you the invite anyway. If you're able to make it, great. If not, hey, we totally understand. But Saturday, we will have Joe Stevens. I'm going to confirm it Saturday morning. I'm pretty sure I know Joe pretty well. He's my boy. I've known Joe since second grade. So I know if he says he's going to show, he's going to show.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, he wouldn't say it. But yeah, man, look, we're going to have an NBA guy come on and giving his 2 cents, no pun intended, on Rob, about the NBA playoffs, and I think you're going to find it to be rather interesting. Rob, I hope you can show up. If not, man, I totally understand.
You know what? Send me the invite anyway, man. We probably.
Hey, you good? No, you're already getting the invite. Don't worry about it. It's coming your way whether you want it or not. And if you can make it, you're going to bring your ass on. If not, we totally get it. Hey, ASAP Sports is what we is our network that we come out to you guys on. And today's Thursday, so we will see you Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time Saturday. And again, before we get out of here, the score is 94 Miami to 83 83 for the 76ers. And my heart goes out to the 76ers, man. Especially our boy Ron. No, he
Sorry,
knows,
Ron.
and I'm feeling for Ron right now. We'll catch you guys out. Thank you for tuning in.
We gone.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. You're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Scratch up the field, so tie the laces.